Oh, there we go. Fixed it.
Wow.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, hey, what's going on? Are we live?
Yeah,
Are we
we're live.
live,
I don't have
everybody?
to.
Are
I
we
don't have
here?
to say it anymore
I know you
because,
don't have to
like,
say. I was
I,
hoping, and
I
then
got to work out the kinks of the transition. I got to figure how all that stuff works out. But
yeah, because I saw the timer end, and I'm like,
yeah.
now what?
But
Now do I wait for Mav? No.
it's different.
Okay, no. Hey, everybody. Welcome to an episode of PM to PM. No, this is not our first time doing this. If you're wondering, if you just showed up here, that is not the case. Mav is just playing with his new toy Restream and figuring out everything. So, hi, everybody. Welcome. Pong and Mav in the PM. Another Thursday, beautiful fall evening here, at least in Minnesota. Actually, we got up to almost 80 degrees today, which is on the high end of what we normally see around here, but it is still gorgeous. Trees are turning. I hope you all have had a fantastic so far week. And again, thoughts, prayers, energy, whatever it is that you believe in continues from myself to go out to everybody down in Florida, everybody in all the affected areas, still North Carolina and Georgia and all the areas that have been getting hit nonstop. And this time it was the middle of Florida. And yes, my dad was in the sites of Milton. And so they had tornadoes all around them. But this time around, unlike Ian a couple years ago and Helene that just kind of went by them, Milton kind of came in and thankfully kind of powered down a little bit before it hit shore. So the surge only got up to the palm trees in his backyard this time, did not hit the barrier, did not flood the house because they just got their house all done from Ian at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, here we go. Really? We just got the house back in order after Ian. Really? So no, they are okay, but tons of people from the community are in Florida. Obviously Psychonauts, right? He's been going through it. He was sending us videos of the rain and wind. Tom from Toonami, I know, is out there. Lady Foxfire, I know that as well. She was in the line of fire. Tons of people. So again, thoughts, prayers, energy to all of you. And I hope all you and your families and friends are okay as you guys kind of clean up again after this one, after another hurricane. But just want to start off the show that way. But we're grateful to be here tonight. Thankful to be here with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. This dude sitting right here, the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network, the one and only man who was brave enough to give me the lead chair on Thursday nights on his channel, knowing that I could screw it all up and that everybody could unsub and he'd not have a channel anymore. But here we are, all these episodes later, the one and only Fun Speculation, aka Mav, who is drowning in games, much like myself, as we speak. So, Mav, what's going on, brother? How you been?
Oh, not bad, man. Yeah, drowning in games. And there is more and more releasing. When we did tidbits on FSP this week, it had like an epiphany on like what kind of week this is because like there's just a variety of games that are all great releasing in multiple genres and multiple platforms and there's really something for everybody and this is maybe one of the best weeks of the year for releases, which is tough because I'm still like super into the games that just released, right? And I've been playing a lot of those. Shattered Space, and you got Aura and Age of Mythology, and all these other games that I've been kind of playing. And I also started playing more V Rising again.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, and I need to stream it, but I was playing it, and I'm really actually getting more into it because I got around my little hurdle with the building
building.
and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
and all that, and I'm just like, okay, this is actually a really solid game. It's just like really well made. Like, it's a blast to play. I love the way the combat and stuff works in that game. So, I'm my attention is it's like I'm being pulled like from multiple games and my emotions are like, do I want to go play that one or do I want to go play that one? I end up sitting here like a zombie, like I can't
Nothing to
make a
talk about.
decision.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make a decision. And no matter what I play, I'm still thinking about some of the other games as well. Oh man, and like it gets even worse because Vessel of Hatred just came out and I haven't been able to touch it yet. Metaphor is launching technically. I guess the release is
Midnight.
yeah, tonight, right? So
Console is midnight. PC is tomorrow. So
and that game is looking like it's gonna be special and like a classic, right? In the genre of one of my favorite genres, bringing can we have 2 years in a row at the Game Awards where we have like turn-based style games and two different categories of RPG win game of the year possibly,
Yes.
it would be insane, right?
Yes, we are. I'm
Uh,
not saying it's gonna win, but yes,
yeah,
I think the critical reception says it's gonna be there. It's gonna be nominated,
yeah.
and
Uh,
it'll win RPG probably of the year.
yeah, and, I expect Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to be there as well. If there is a Final Fantasy game there, it'll probably be Rebirth, right?
Oh, yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
and yeah, just overall, man, it's just like, wow, this is a great year. But, like, there's no let up really because we have even more coming. There's a Call of Duty launches later this month, and then we have Stalker 2 launching next month, and then we have Indiana Jones and Flight Sim and just tons and tons of games, man. And then even the other announcements happen about, hey, surprise, this game's coming to Game Pass, right? Hey, do you want to give it a go? Why not? You
Yeah,
know? So love it, man. Love it. Gaming is glorious, and yeah, gonna have a lot of fun playing a lot of games over the next few months. But I know I won't be able to get to everything, so it's gonna be tough.
it is. It's gonna be real tough. Listen, it's nuts right now.
Yeah.
So it is. I've been talking about for the past 2 weeks the same feeling that you were just describing. Obviously, man, I came on here the past couple weeks and said the same damn thing. I've been turning on whatever, and normally I have zero problem honing in on one or two games out of my normal grazing that I just want to play. But now there's so many that I want to play.
Hmm.
When I turn on my system, I can't. I literally have a hard time. So I'll start. I mean, again, Aura History Untold. Now we've talked about it enough, but
Yeah.
I gotta say, Mav, last Sunday had a bunch of stuff going on in the background, whatever else. So I popped it on because it's easy because you don't have to worry about it. It's turn based. So
Yeah.
again, you got something
You
going
can just
on,
let it
whatever.
sit
You
there
let
and
it
just
sit there,
yeah.
right? So I am now showing 24 hours played. Okay. So I
You surpassed
added,
me now.
yeah, I added a ton of hours, although technically speaking, probably closer to 20 between time, like I said, where I had sitting or whatever else the case maybe on Sunday. But it's like chess, right, Mav? It's like the old school
Yeah.
chess where you can just let it sit, you make your move, everybody else makes their move, and okay, all right, I'll come back and deal with you guys. That's what I was doing, but I took it from. I told you last week. I went back in. I was at turn 193, and I am now. When I left off on Sunday night, I am at 371. And
Yeah.
again, that's still the same damn game. And I know you're over turn 400
Yeah.
now,
I'm
right?
like 477.
Yeah. So, and it's not. I'm. We're not even close. I'm not even to modern age yet.
Yeah, I just reached I just reached act 3,
Mhm.
and so I'm now, like, in the, like, industrial era kind
Right,
of,
where you could
where I'm
start a little
uh-huh,
bit seeing some of that because I got gunpowder, I got stuff like
uh-huh.
that, but
Yeah, I can make, like, manufacturing plants and stuff
okay.
like that now and stuff, you know?
Yeah, but it's been really I'm still number 1, so I've been maintaining my number 1 status through it all. Couple people got in wars. I actually helped out a couple people. We were good because we got allies. I got strong allies that keep coming back from because my armies are freaking ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
I'm overboard. Like I had to get rid of some of them because of how powerful I was getting. Because once I figured out, map, what I did figure out was once you figured out that you could legion them, so you could put 4 together and it only counted as 1 of your land, then I had to go back and redo some things, and that happened early on, but, now I just keep upgrading. So now I'm just, I'm getting ready to start putting out, like I said, gunpowder units, which is gonna change everything again. As soon as I get my cannons built, it's over with. So, but yeah, just have an absolute blast with R. I can't say enough about that game, so shout out to Oxide again for that. And then, of course, this week, it turned into the return. I had to go back home to mother. I had to go back to Sanctuary when Diablo 4 dropped Vessel of Hatred. I told you all I was going to be back. I told you all I re-downloaded it. I skipped the last season. I had played all the previous seasons, but I skipped this last season because it's too much of a time sink. Over 400 hours into Diablo 4. I had to take a break. There's too much else to play. But Vessel of Hatred, I was not going to miss. I had a pre-order. I was ready to rock and roll. And then I had the disappointment of the first night where once again, for whatever reason, Blizzard just can't handle launches. I don't know how a company that large can't handle launches. I don't get it why they have issues every time, but it's nuts to me. That was frustrating as hell because I came home, I was like ready to rock and roll, and they were down. Obviously, they had all the issues. So, but it came back up. Obviously, they got it fixed overnight. And so the next day, I started playing Vessel Hatred. So I played the past 2 nights. That's all I've done. A couple hours each night. I'm now level, I don't even know what I left off on last night. 25, I want to say 24, 25. Having an absolute blast with Spiritborn, the new character class. I did not know if I was going to like the new character class or not. I was kind of in the camp where I was hoping they were going to bring in like a paladin class, like they've done in all their other games, but had to try out Spiritborn
Mhm.
and went full poison. And I know you can mix and match, and I know the meta right now is the electricity one. Everybody's been showing that off. It's way OP. Everybody's saying it's going to get nerfed, so play it while you can. I went full poison with the centipede, and it is freaking fun as hell. It is. I love it. The Spiritborn, how fast they attack. I love their actual skill sets and how you can combine the skills once you understand what you're doing. And again, I'm really early still at level 25. I know the cap now is only 60, which it did change. But I'm still really early and still figuring things out. But so far, I got a nice flow and a nice pattern going. I'm playing out hard. Haven't had any issues. Already cleared some of the special dungeons by myself solo without much of a problem. Used up some potions, obviously,
Mhm.
but what you're supposed to do, but clearing out mass amounts of enemies at the time. Some of those areas get really plugged full of them. Got my first unique last night, which was nice already. And Diablo's Diablo's feeling really good. I'll have to wait to see how it pans out. All the changes they did because they did do like a ton of changes. Like I said, level 60 is now the cap. I'm gonna have to wait and see how that builds. Now you can do 5 boards. Once you get into Paragon, you can have 5 boards or something like that. I think they said they changed. So I'm gonna have to see how that flow works. But right now, I got to say they've done a nice job so far. This is kind of like I said before, it's kind of a head scratcher that they didn't understand some of this stuff going into launch. Not a Vessel of Hatred, but I'm
Right.
talking about the entire game. Like this, some of this stuff is like, yeah, you guys probably should have known this was going to be better this way. But the fact that they are working on it, the fact that they fixed it, and so far the story of Vessel of Hatred is living up to exactly how I thought it was going to be, from the cinematics onto just the regular story beats. What did you get during the campaign? Loving the hell out of the story. Mephisto is I mean, I love Mother to death, right? Lilith forever. And I love to see her come back. And I would have loved this game had she just remained the main enemy. But how they transitioned it over to Mephisto, and now Mephisto, the the dude is the dude is pure evil, man. I mean, he is just it's unbelievable. And again, Blizzard cinematics and their acting and how they put all this stuff together and they piece their stories together, they are second to none in a lot of ways. And so it just makes it all that much better. So can't wait to continue my run in Diablo. Like you said, Mav, right prior to the show, before I hopped in with you, I had to go make sure that my Metaphor Refantasio was pre-ordered. So again, I did pre-order because you do get some bonuses, and that goes away at midnight tonight. So if you do want to pre-order it, again, you could pre-order through the Xbox store, and you get Play Anywhere, right? So you get the Player Anywhere advantage if you order it through the Xbox store. So that's what I did. And I can't wait to jump into that game. Again, the prologue sold me. I was going to wait because I have too much to play. Honestly, I'm so far over my budget at this point. It's crazy. So I was not planning on buying Metaphor Refantasio. But my God, the prologue, that demo sold the hell out of me. And I didn't even finish the demo like I thought I was going to do. Again, I got too much to play. So I didn't even finish the demo, but I didn't need to. The first 2 hours I was sold, and I knew I was going to have to be. This was going to be one of the rare times where I was like, "Nah, I need to play this out the gate. Like, I really need to play this game out the gate." And I'm did it. So I'm locked in for Metaphor. I'll
Nice,
be
man.
playing that tomorrow night. Trying to work that in along with Diablo, and obviously I can get back to Aura. I just updated Aura. Aura got an update. Age of Mythology Retold got an update. So I just updated Aura too right before the show when I was downloading Metaphor Refantasio, and you know how much it took me not to push the play button, man. You know how hard it was for me not to just push the play button and drop in and get a couple turns in because I was like, God, bro, I got to get back to Aura.
Yeah.
This I've seen a lot of people say that they're disappointed with 2024 compared to 2023. They don't think it's hit. I'm still on board with my initial prediction, and for me personally, again, this is always going to be personal. For me, I think 2024 is going to surpass 2023 for me. Just in terms of overall quality and the amount of games this year that I have to play, that I've been on board with playing from day one. And I'm going to include expansions. I haven't even touched Shattered Space yet, which you guys all know is ridiculous, and Starfield is my favorite game. Like, you know how ridiculous that is. But I'm going to including expansions. This year is going now with Metaphor Refantasio. If Indiana Jones hits the way I think it is, even if Microfly Flight Sim starts adding to it a little bit with their new gameplay mode, I did re-download that too as well, Mav, because I want to fly around by the hurricane. But if this new one actually hits and it's fun, I think for me personally, Mav, with Dragon's Dogma 2 right now sitting as my
Yeah.
game of the year, this year's going to top it for me. How are you feeling about 2024 versus 2023 for you personally?
I for me personally, I think it's already maybe surpassed it. But I think it definitely will. Based on what I've played from the prologue of Metaphor, it's going to be one of those special games. And I think back earlier this year, we had something like Unicorn Overlord, stuff like that. And Dragon's Dogma 2 came out. Space Marine 2 is absolutely incredible. But the amount of hours that I know I'm going to be putting into games like Ara and an Age of Retold, and it's just like the genres I love the most. They're
Mhm.
getting the most attention. And then
Same.
I think also on top of that, we look at a game like Black Ops 6 coming later this year, and I think it's or this month,
Mhm.
and I think it's going to be the best Call of Duty we've gotten in a super long time, right? And um, so I add that on top of it. We're getting another new flight sim, which is something I really kind of enjoy, kind of diving into and checking out. And then stuff like Indiana Jones, like in December, right?
Yep.
But then what could end up taking all my attention and time would be something like Stalker 2. You never know. Like, if it hits, and it's great, I could love it. But then I think back, oh my God, Tekken 8 came out this year,
It
right?
did, and I loved it.
And
I bought
and
that day one too.
it was amazing. It was
Yeah,
so good. And so there's so many games in different genres that are awesome. Plus, also this year's been a year that we've got some crazy announcements of like games that we didn't expect that were like kind of like dream scenarios and stuff like Tokyo Extreme Racers coming back and stuff. So just like knowing that like adds to like the excitement that I have for like just gaming in general and stuff. So yeah, I think this year's been pretty incredible. Now it's not if you're like one specific kind of game,
correct.
it's not necessarily going to be the year for you, right? But like the genres I love and the variety of them and stuff. It's just an endless amount of things to enjoy. And I've really had a blast this year. And knowing that the best is still right here in the next couple months, probably. Even something like Dragon Age, which I know you're not super excited about, but for me,
No,
like I'm really pumped for that one.
right.
Like that's gonna be something that could that end up becoming my game of the year? Who knows? Like I don't know. I've been switching my idea of what my game of the year is like off and on because different games keep grabbing my attention, and it's going to be hard. I'm not going to know until like December 31st what my actual game of the year is, and even then I could like probably the next day change my mind. It's just that good with the so many different games.
Well,
Um
we've had Space Marine 2 show up,
yeah.
which again is clearly in second place for me right now, right? Metaphor,
Uh-huh.
but then we got games like First Descendant, free to play game came out of nowhere,
Yep.
right? I could not ask for more from a looter shooter game, brand new IP from a relatively unknown small studio. Well, I mean, obviously, okay, overall their parent company is huge, but I'm just saying, like a studio that's never really done anything like this, AAA free to play game shows up and it's freaking phenomenal. Like I
Yep.
love that game. I got over I think 150 hours into that game this year. It's things like that, man. And then we could still get like Tempest Rising this year. We could still have more thrown onto the fire than even we got. We got little games
Mhm.
like Kill Knight showing up from from an indie studio and blowing me out of the water. We've got remasters coming out of nowhere. Lollipop Chainsaw again. I've got it. I played it for a couple hours. Haven't been back to it again because of how many games I got, but it's a freaking great remaster, right? I know a lot of people are enjoying the Dead Rising remaster right now.
Mhm.
We got games like Frostpunk 2 that nobody's talking about right now, right?
Yep.
We got games early this year, Mav, like Manor Lord.
Yep.
Right, that became one of the biggest things ever that you and I touched on and played for a bit, but then we got lost in the shuffle because Dragon's Dogma 2 showed
Mhm.
up, and we had games like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink show up, which is a great JRPG.
Yep.
They started from the beginning. We talked about this early in the year. We talked about this coming into this year. Now it's crazy that we're already towards the end of this year, but you and I talked about what this was going to look like. And then on top of that, like you said, man, so many surprises like the First Descendant, like the Space Marine 2, right? Like the Metaphor Refantasio that come pretty much, okay, going from cool, like, yeah, I'm super excited to going, holy shit, this is one of my favorite freaking games of the year. I had no idea this was going to wind up one of my freaking favorite games of the year. Like, I knew First Descendant was going to be cool, and I was like, oh, great, another looter shooter. It'll fill in the space for some things. I didn't know how addicted I was going to get to that game. I didn't know how much I was going to support the devs on that game, but I did, and I'm happy for it. I can go. I still got to go back to it. I'm looking forward to season 1 here, but that's what makes this year special for me personally. Is it has been from the start to the finish, and it's been come from, like you said, Mav, which I 1,000% agree to you, because of who we are as gamers, right? The variety of games that we like. Every single one of our genres is represented, and some of
Mhm.
the genres that sometimes we, even as fans, have felt like, okay, well, we could probably use a couple new games in here. We've gotten flooded with games this year, right? And all different types of ways. I from all different types of places, indie to triple A. And I think for like that's I have to say that's why again nobody wants to die. I've got that sitting there too. That is a great game that nobody's talking about because it just kind of came away. It's in between everything else, but it's a great game. A lot of people should play it if you like narrative driven games. It's stuff like that's the nuts. And then you throw in Vessel of Hatred, then you throw in a Shattered Space, then you throw in all these other things. Yeah, this has got to be my favorite year, even over last year, and
Yeah.
that's saying a lot.
Not to mention
Mm,
also the showcases we got, especially from
boom.
Xbox,
That's
were way better than usual. And even like the Keeley shows were better than
yeah.
usual, like for his summer game fest. So and then we got a much bigger Gamescom than we're used to getting. We got a bigger TGS than we're used to getting. So and then we got the Dev Direct earlier. It's just been absolutely insane with news, with coverage. Now, a lot of people have been sucked into the negativity of some of the console warriors stuff about what the future of gaming and everything is kind of heading towards and all that kind of stuff, and that what they love about it is dead and dying and all that kind of stuff, right? But like for me, I'm like, my own personal experience has only gotten better, especially this year, right? So, for me, I'm like, well, everybody can talk about that stuff, but like it doesn't actually have an effect on your own experience if you actually are just playing the games and focusing on the games that are coming out on the platform that you prefer. And for people of all platforms, there's been plenty of stuff to play this year. And it's just going to get even crazier
Yeah.
though, because what we're talking about this, but like 2025 looks even crazier than this year right now, you know?
The beginning looks even busier than this year,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, February is freaking loaded.
God.
Um, and
Yeah.
then we have, like you have Doom, you have Fable, you have South of Midnight, you know. Then what was the other fourth big game coming out from Xbox? Avowed. Yeah.
Yep.
All already slated for 2025, and that's just what we know about right now, you know.
That's from just
And
Xbox when you
then we
throw in.
got Ghost of Yote
Yep.
finally announced for PlayStation. We know there's a Switch 2 coming out next year. That means that Nintendo's going to have some launch stuff that
Mhm.
hopefully is going to be exciting. Um, Overall, it's just kind of like, wow, you know. Even surprises like, hey, some of the remakes that we've been asking for, remasters or games coming to PCs or the older stuff are actually happening. Red Dead Redemption finally making its way to PC,
Yeah, we
right?
talked about that. Yeah.
A little maybe overpriced, but
Yeah. It's Rockstar. We'll get to it. It's 2K. It's Rockstar. What are we gonna do? So,
yeah,
but yeah, no, you're absolutely correct, man. Next year is going to be, my God, Calorie just, yeah, Kinutsugami. Jesus Christ.
yeah,
Can you say
Path of the
back to
Goddess.
back? Jesus.
Any other year,
Bro,
I would have put so many hours into that game,
me
but
too.
it just came out at a time when I was sucked into other stuff,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I played it and I love it, but it's one that I know I'll always go back to,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
Because it'll always be there, and it's a special, unique game, you know?
Yeah. Balatro, you were playing Balatro how many
Oh
times?
my god, I love it.
I haven't even
Yeah.
touched Balatro. It's totally a game for
Oh
me.
my
Like
god,
I
yeah.
haven't even touched it. I haven't bought it. I haven't done. That's what this game is crazy. This year is crazy, and next year is going to be even crazier. Next
Yeah,
year really could be busier than this year, which
and
is
then
sad.
I look at the games that are some of the biggest for this year that aren't for me,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Like Shadow of the Erdtree for, Elden
Elden
Ring,
Ring.
and then you have Black Myth: Wukong as
Yep.
well out there, right? Like, just
Yeah, I
not
mean, stuff like
only
Stellar Blade that was,
yeah,
again, PS5 only, right? You got stuff like that showed up on that
mhm.
side too.
You had new IP take off, like, from unknown developers at, like, Palworld and, First Descendant,
And Helldivers too.
um,
Oh, yeah.
Helldivers yeah,
Jesus. I mean, I got 50 hours in Helldivers too.
yeah.
So, uh,
Awesome game.
yes,
Awesome game.
yes. Um, absolutely incredible. So I had to mention that because I was just looking at it today and thinking about this with Metaphor Refantasio coming out at midnight tonight for consoles. I think it's 12 p.m. our time tomorrow for PC version. Just thinking about that and how this year is going to end, especially with Xbox's end of the year here, and some of the other stuff that like we've talked about, man, that
Yeah.
potentially could come, like a Tempest Rising that a lot of people in our chat aren't going to play, but you and I, that could be like a top five game for us this year at some point if it drops this year and we get to play it. So it's nuts, man. It is nuts, and next year is going to be even better. So yeah, Chad, I hope you all enjoyed that. That's what we've been playing so far this week. And there's a lot more talk to come in as we go through the rest of the year. Like we were just saying, there's going to be a ton of new games that we are going to definitely be talking about. So thank you all. We're going to jump into the chat here real quick and shout everybody out, and then we'll get into some of the topics that we got going on. And obviously, the big one, casual Halo guy here gets to talk Halo again, but thank God I got an actual real Halo fan here with me, and we're going to talk about obviously the Halo stuff, which was massive news of the week, big time stuff. So but let's shout out these amazing people here. We got Calorie, what's going on, Calorie? Great to see you. He says, I don't buy full price games except for Call of Duty but because Call of Duty is going to Game Pass, I will be buying Metaphor at launch. Beautiful, Calorie.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, brother. That's how you do it. Poison Maniac, what's going on? We got the Silver Lab guy. Game of the year is going to be crazy debate this year. So many deserve nomination. Exactly our point. There has been so many freaking fantastic games, and so many games are going to be on the outside. Unicorn Overlord, man. We've been talking about one of the best
I know,
turn-based
yeah.
tactical games to come out forever, right? Like,
Yeah, and then there's other games that I would have normally
yes,
played, like Visions of Mana,
correct.
right? Like,
Yes.
I just haven't even been able to touch that. Also, other game there's Aiden Chronicles 100 Heroes.
Yep.
Actually, what I've played of it was very
Yes.
short amount of time, but I was like, "Oh my god, like, I could actually get lost in this game if I" but
Mhm.
it's like, having to choose what not to play is the hardest thing.
It is. It is. So yeah, game of the year. There's gonna be some big conversations around game of the year. So let's see here. I spent in the categories this year, like best RPG this year. Yo, that is going to be crazy when you think about how many RPGs came out this year. So we're gonna have some fun
Yeah.
topics about around those times when the award shows start going. So let's see here. Let's see. Far Q, what's going on, Far Q? Good to see you. Marty McFly says, I just want to say that Metaphor game is awesome, and I don't even like those types of games, but I gave it a chance, and I'm glad I did. It's an awesome game. Congratulations. I hope it opens you up to more. It might not. It just might be the style, but I hope it does open you up to trying games like Personas and stuff down the line. Again, not the they're similar because they're Atlas. They got a formula, but they are two different experiences. Like Mav says, he doesn't necessarily like the Persona because of this whole high school thing and being stuck at school. You might not either, but I hope that you trying that out opens you up to trying other games like it, because that is a whole genre with a whole bunch of stuff that you could find that you really love. And I think that's so cool. That's the biggest part about demos. And that's why I will continue to push that they need to get back to demos, Mav. They need to put out more demos for us.
Yeah.
There were some demos that dropped this week that nobody even knows about, Mav,
Mhm.
right? That nobody even knows about. demos came out and they don't advertise them. The developers don't advertise them. Like, unless you're actually watching their feed, you would never know that they're even out there available for you to go download on console, on Xbox. There's a double A Elder Scrolls game out there right now that is very good. By the way,
Tainted Grail game.
Tainted Grail.
Yeah.
They had a strategy game that came out underneath the same name. They went ahead and made an Elder Scrolls, a double A version Elder Scrolls that's actually got very positive reviews on PC. If you go look at it, it's an early act. It's a great game. It is a great. I played about an hour and a half of it. I didn't mention it, but I played about an hour and a half of that demo. It plays like Elder Scrolls, like old school Elder Scrolls, like Oblivion. Like, that's how it plays. But the mechanics, the combat is actually pretty damn good. So stuff like that just shows up now and nobody even notices. Again, we're getting closer to closer on console side of things, like PC, where there's so many games that come out on PC that if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss 100 games that you would have fallen in love with at one point or another, just because you didn't know about them. It's nuts right now.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you tried, Marty, and I'm glad you fell in love with it. Oh, Ghost Fixer, DB Sparking Zero. Shout out to Ghost Fixer, by the way. Thank you for being here. Always good to see you, brother. Says DBZ Sparking Zero is fantastic as well. Yeah, Steele's saying he might not play any other games this year besides Call of Duty. Like, he's locked back in to Sparking Zero. He's talking about getting tournament ready. Listen, it takes a lot. Like, that dude loves multiplayer games. That dude is highly competitive, but it takes a lot for him to lock into one game. He is a huge Tekken fan, and he was locked into Tekken for about 2 weeks straight. But then even that got to a point where he was like, nah, it's great, but I'm just not going to put the effort into it. But DBZ is on another level for him. And I've heard nothing but from the fans. Again, there'll be nothing I ever play, but from the fans that say this thing's freaking awesome, that it's returned to form, and that people are saying that this is their personal game of the year. And from the fighting side of things, right? What are we saying here? This is Dragon Ball Z. Sparking Zero came out of nowhere this year. Freaking amazing. Yeah. Ghost Fixer, shout out to you. Jesse James is in the house. What's going on, Jesse? It says GTA 6, Mafia, Snake Eater, South of Midnight, Fable, etc. Can't wait for 2025 as third-person fan, bro. Off the charts next year, bro. Again, if we'll get closer to the end of the year, we'll have a PM in the PM where we run down 2025 just like we did 2024 coming into 2024. We'll do that again with all the stuff we kind of know about. It's going to be a massive list. So buckle up for that. We'll do that closer though to the end of the year.
Who is this? Who is this? Dirt Wife's fiance. Shout out to my favorite Nintendo guy. Pong, you rock. And then it's got the Diddy profile pic.
Oh my God.
Who is this?
Yeah, you got me now. You got me locked down there. Favorite Nintendo guy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to Dirt's wife's fiance. Dirt, if you're in the chat, sorry, brother. I don't know who that is. Shout out while I'm down here anyway. Shout out to Buzz. What's going on, Buzz?
Did you see the post Dirt made? Somebody sent him the Valve logo thing. Oh my God, that was greatness.
The things that people come up with against like that. Bro, Dirt is awesome because he takes it's so funny. He's cultivated that whole thing and it's funny as hell. I love him for it. Buzz, what's going on? He says, any of yous with PC play Off the Grid at all? It looks decent. No, but Steel tried to jump in, but he said the servers were awful. There was 5 minutes plus, literally. He wasn't being dramatic, but he said literally 5 minutes plus waiting time to try to get into it. Now I've heard that's because they had all these weird hours when they had the servers active and when they weren't. Hoping, because I've heard some positivity from this game. And anybody who doesn't know, Off the Grid is the Neil Blomkamp game that we had heard about a year and a half, 2 years ago that we saw. It is now going through kind of alpha beta testing right now, and they've got it kind of set up weird where there's only certain times you can do it, which other games have done before. I'm hoping they're going to have an open time. But again, some people saying it is unique that have gotten a chance to play it, that it does stand out from others right now in the Battle Royale space. This originally was going to be an NFT game. Shout out to Special Nick for hitting me up on X when I made a post about Off the Grid. And he told me that originally this was going to be an NFT game. And I did not remember that at all. But I was like, thank God it ain't no more. So anyways, well, I'll be looking forward to it. I'll try it at some point. FARQ.
It's FARQ.
It's FARQ. E-Ranks, what's going on? E-Ranks, great to see you. Says Metaphor is going to be incredible, and I'm not a big Persona fan. Oh, I'm telling you, That prologue demo sold at least a couple 100,000 extra copies, if not maybe 1 million extra copies for Atlas. Like that demo sealed the deal for a lot of people that they had to get it day one. Love to hear it,
Yeah.
E-Ranks. Shout out to you, brother. Brandon Martin's in the house. Is going on. Brandon Martin says Mech Warrior 5, the Clans is coming to Game Pass day one. That's what Mav was hinting at, and we will get to that for sure. But yes, that just got announced out of the blue today. Another shadow drop of a Game Pass game dropping in next week. Out of the blue. Nobody knew it was coming. Here it is. And I will be playing it. Steel and I will be live, and hopefully Mav says he's going to jump into this one as well. Maybe you'll see the three of us rocking plus some on a live stream someday together because me and Steel played the first Mech Warrior 5 when it originally launched. So we'll get to that. Stone King X, what's going on? Stone King says, yeah, I got the PS5 Pro pre-order from Best Buy today with only 1 minute wait time. Way to go, Stone King. I know you're excited, brother. Gamer right there. Stone King plays everything. Gamer. That's what I love. Good to see you, Stone King. Shout out to you. Congrats on the PS5 Pro, brother. Coach Hooded Canuck is in the house. What's going on? I'm trying the Centipede skill tree from Spiritborn. That's what I am too. That's what I said in the beginning. I love the poison. I love the Centipede. So shout out to you, Coach Hooded Canuck. Mr. Waffles is in here. What's going on, Mr. Waffles? Great to see you. Says you can still pre-order a PS5 Pro from any retailer. Yep, like we told y'all. It's not meant to be a massive seller. It's meant to make a money. That's all. That's why that's priced where it's at. It's going to be for the enthusiasts. They're not expecting to sell out of this thing. They're not expecting this to be, replace the PS5 regular. Nope. This is an enthusiast device. That's who they're going to sell it to. Pure and simple. William Riggs is in the house. What's going on, William Riggs? Great to see you. Verg Brizzle. Verg. It's no longer just Verg Brizzle. It is now Verg Based Brizzle. Yo,
Based.
what's going on, Based? Great to see you, brother. As always, thanks for joining the show tonight. Who else? We got Retro Dude X77 says the ghost of Yotai lead actor. She called for the extension of. Oh, yeah, I know. She's done some weird things, but whatever. Again, there's plenty more of that coming around. Again, everybody with the social media has the opportunity to say what they want to say. They can get criticized for it too, but yeah, I know why people were upset. True Serum, what's going on? Great to see you in here. Andrew Cullinane's in the chat. What's going on, Andrew? Alvin, what's going on? Alvin says Switch 2. Nah, they got Alarmo. I wasn't even gonna bring this up, Alvin, but yeah, I don't want to hear shit about anybody else's peripherals. If you are one of those people that hate other companies selling everything, I listen, you all are going to spend $100 on a fucking Nintendo alarm clock that looks like it should be in a 3-year-old's bedroom. Cool. That's your thing. Cool. But again, $100. Come on, man. Anyways, your money, not going to pocket watch you. I just think it's funny for people who bash other companies for trying to sell things. But then when Nintendo shows up with an alarm clock, oh my God, gotta go get one. Jesus fucking man, Christ.
Alarmo.
Alarmo is cool. Shout out to Nintendo. Respect that hustle. The Beer Baron's in here. What's going on, Beer Baron? Great to see you, brother. Brett Bingham's in the house. What's going on, Brett? Always great to see you. Roberto Z's in here. What's going on, Roberto? Great to see you. Yep, I no longer have a backlog. So again, mine is just a library. Some of those books may never get pulled down. Some of those books / games will never get pulled down and played or read, maybe for a very long ass time. So I just collect. I just collect them.
It's a backlog. It's a forward log. It's just an ever persistent thing.
That's why I don't worry about beating games. Screw it. I'm just going to try to get to as many as possible and experience what I can out of them. And however long I play them, I play them. If I beat them, I beat them. If I don't, I don't. That's where we're at. I still got to go play Remnant 2 DLC, for God's sakes. I haven't played one batch of that after beating the game with Jasper and Steel. Steel and I still got to go back to it. I haven't had the chance, man. Haven't had the chance. Bought it. Got it, all the DLC. It's crazy. Who else we got here? We got It's Timmy. It's Timmy. What's going on? Great to see you in here. Thank you, brother, for showing up as always. The brother from another, Psychonauts, of course, is in here. Psycho, great to see you. Glad you're doing okay, brother, out there in Florida as well. Mitchy dies a lot. Thank you, my friend, for dropping in here. Great to see you. As always, Dr. Dingle Nuts in the house. What's up, Doctor? We got the Sith Lord in the house. What's going on, Sith? We got the one and only Shane G dropping on by. What's going on, Shane? Great to see you in here as well. We got Omi Tony's in the house. What's up, Omi Tony? Awesome. Awesome to have you a part of the show tonight. We got the one and only Masshole 1977 coming on in with his usual sup nerds. Sup nerd to you. Again, I will call myself a nerd every day of the week. I like that word actually. BT Maverick 707. What's going on? Great to see you, brother. RSJ fan. I see you in here. Great to see you as well. Thank you for being a part of the show. Let's see if I missed anybody down. Oh, Froggy T, right, of course, dropped in here. What's going on, Froggy? Sin, what's going on, Sin? Great to see you dropping in here as usual. OCD Gamers also in here. What's going on? We got the Razer Ultron AEC for life. What's going on, Razer Ultron? Yes, it is $100, brother. Yes, it is $100. We got the Ruben Francis. What's going on, Ruben? Great to see you guys. I'm thinking of getting a PC, but have no idea what I need. Where did you two get yours? Are they pre-built? Mine is pre-built. I reached out to Steel, reached out to other people who knew about PCs before I went ahead and did it. I decided I didn't want to build my first one. This one so happened to be on a great sale at the time. But I had everybody take a look at the everything that was in it, make sure that it was good to go because not every pre-built is the same. Okay. And some pre-builts use cheap motherboards and other pieces that can go bad in a very short amount of time. So I made sure I double checked before I bought my pre-built. Now you can go through a bigger company and get a pre-built like NXT or whatever. I can't think of the billions are there off the top of my head, but you guys know the big pre-built companies, but you pay a premium, but you are getting quality, right? Mav, you did it through
For what? Sorry.
for
What were we...
your PC. How'd you get your PC?
Oh yeah. So I picked all the parts out with Steel and Jasper's help and Psycho's
Through
and they
Micro
all
Center.
through Micro Center's store.
Yeah.
And it took advantage of some of the sales and everything that they had and kind of make the best thing I could for the bang for the buck. And then I paid for them to also build it for me so I didn't have to mess with that. So
Yeah.
I would do that personally every day of the week because I don't like I'm not a guy that tinkers with that kind of stuff too much, right? But it worked out perfectly. I brought it home, plugged it in, it was ready to go. And anytime I upgrade it or anything, I'll probably bring it back there and have them do it for me. That's seems like a simple way for somebody that's not like into that stuff, but still wants to have like a PC that's customizable and stuff. And I went pre-builts before. The only reason I didn't do that this time is because last times I'd done that, it became a thing to where it's like if I upgraded the GPU, then I got to upgrade this, I got to upgrade that, I got to upgrade that. But I think Pong's is better than the pre-builts I had before, so I think he's pretty good to go on that stuff.
Yeah, and mine wasn't built by Best Buy. That's where I got mine from, but mine's a Cyber Power.
Yeah,
So
that's what my past. That's what.
yeah,
I'd
mine's a
love to
Cyber
see it.
Power. And again, I had Steel look at all the interior,
Mhm.
all the stuff on the inside to make sure that it was going to be up to
Yeah.
spec, that it was going to be good to go. And it was. And again, it was only because it was such a great price. Like he went back and forth we went through parts after parts,
Mhm.
trying to decide. And he was like, that value. And he's like, everything looks good. He goes, you probably got to go with that.
Yeah, and
And
your GPU is slightly better than mine because you have the
yeah,
7900 XT, I have the 7900.
yeah, I got the XTX and you got the
Yeah,
XT.
XTX, and I got the
Yep,
XT.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. You got the XT. Yep. So mine is the slightly better one. Yes. But yeah, that's the only reason why I did it. So again, and pre-builts honestly were really bad back in the day, and there's still some places where you're going to get screwed, especially the cheaper pre-builts. But honestly, that kind of changed too because these companies know they can't get away with that shit as much anymore because people are much more knowledgeable now.
Mhm.
So I think that the overall quality, because of the amount of competition that's out there, they have stepped it up. The big thing is to not like the GPU or the CPU, because you know what you're going to get out of that. again, from Steel telling me things, it's the other stuff in there, especially like the memory boards and stuff where, or the wire harnesses and that kind of stuff where they can go cheap on that shit that can cause you problems down the road. That's the only thing you really got to dive into. You know what you're going to get because they're going to tell you what the
Yeah.
CPU and the GPU are, and you're going to know exactly what they are. But the other stuff, that's where it gets dicey. So that's
Mhm.
the only thing I will tell you from the inexperienced PC guy here that I kind of learned through this process. I do believe my next PC I am going to build myself. I do want to learn more, especially now where the industry's going. Kind of PC is the kind of where everything's kind of headed. So I'm gonna get to know this stuff more and more. But for my first PC, my first ever gaming PC, I got to say this thing over the past year and a half has been simply fan fucking tastic.
Yeah, Starfield on a decently high-end PC is like another
Oh
it's like another experience. Like, it's great on console, right? But, like, it's man, it was awesome,
you get older game.
which is why I bought mine, was for
Yep.
Starfield specifically, right? And then but, like, overall, like, I still game about half and half or
Yep.
maybe slightly more on console.
Yep. I'm
It
about
just
half and half
depends on
right
the
now.
game. Yeah.
I am, like I said, buying more third party titles now on PC than I was previously.
Well, the sales are just crazy. Like,
The key
yeah,
shop, like again, now that I'm
yeah,
fully in it, like again, I knew about GG deals. I'd been there, I'd been to the other, all the other sites. But now that I'm into it, like, bro, again, I've got
yeah.
over 250 games already in my PC Steam catalog.
Yeah, they
I
add up
haven't
quick, right?
but I've hardly like the vast majority out of the big, except for the big titles that I've purchased outright, right? The other ones, I haven't spent more than like $3 on most of them, and a lot of them I've gotten for
Mhm.
under $1 or like $1, like literally, like for good
Yeah.
games. I got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy for $3.
Yeah. Such a good game, dude.
Right, right,
It is
so,
such a good game.
right. So I just throw it in my catalog, right?
But
That's what I
I
do.
love when games like Metaphor do the whole cross-buy thing. Like, it's been, something that Xbox has done,
Mhm.
and, like, for their
That's
first
what I
parties and
was
stuff,
talking about.
it's amazing that being able to just play where you want to depending on your situation. I'll play Forza, like, on PC, or I'll play it on console. Great experience both ways, right? But having everything just carry over and just having it there, same thing with Starfield. Um Age, Mythology Retold, same way, right? A great experience on both. I just love that. So Metaphor, like, as a third party doing that is absolutely awesome because that's the only thing is I hate having to make the decision. Like, on a game like Space Marine 2, right? I ended up
Right.
going PC, but I want to also play it on console. So I
Mm.
hated having to make that decision.
Yep.
Ultimately, like, based on what my eyes popping out of my sockets when I'm playing the game, I think I made the right one, but I still think it's going to be a great experience on consoles too, and I want to enjoy it there. So I would just love if more and more games from different publishers took that, which is something that Ubisoft does well because with Ubisoft Plus, I don't think it does it on the regular games if you just buy them, but with like Ubisoft Plus as a subscription service, you get that as well. So you can play like Star Wars Outlaws on both, and for the same
Mhm.
subscription price.
Correct.
So I love that kind of stuff, man. Absolutely awesome.
Oh man, I think I got everybody. Wilfrey Rosario. I see what's going on. He said he bought one through Best Buy too as well. Yeah, and they got a great you can buy the warranty with it too. And continue to get the warranty, right? So
Yeah.
it is a great warranty. Like basically anything, like to just replace it, right? So again, that's the other big part about that too. That I would certainly recommend doing just in case.
Speaking while we're talking about
Yeah,
buying things,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
hey, Kate did some work and did the put our new well, I gotta hide the chat thing. Hold on. Did our new designs and stuff and put them on the merch
Oh,
shop.
look at that.
So we have new cups and hoodies and mugs and some new hats and
Ooh-wee.
stuff there. So if anybody does want to support the channel that way, that's just an option. Again, no pressure for anybody, obviously.
No,
But
you guys got a whole goal to hit, right? You guys got like 7,000 this month to hit. So yeah, you better go check out that shop because that shop goes a long way to extra credit. With that
yeah,
goal.
it gets extra credit for the. But I got to get some of the stuff too. Like
Looking
I want
good,
to
man.
get a new. I want to get a new hat.
I like the redesign. Again, Kate should do this full time. I'm sorry, Kate. I know you hate people telling you that, but you should. It looks amazing, and you did a nice freaking job. And again, thank you for the thumbnail tonight, Caitlin. I didn't see you in the chat, but I don't know if you're lurking, but thank you for the beautiful thumbnail again tonight as well. Chat, thank you all for being here again. So let's jump into some topics here. Well, I mean, Mav, again, not a giant week here of news. So let's get into the Halo stuff, man. Halo stuff is all the rage this week.
Mm.
I'm sure you all heard it. Mav and the guys got to talk about it Monday night on FSP, obviously, because it happened early this week. New name and potentially new game, right? New name for the studio. Do not call them 343 anymore, folks. Do not do that.
Mm-mm.
They are no longer 343. It is now Halo Studios. I know. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. Like, I was really confused when I saw the name. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? Right? What's the connection to the game? I just don't get it. But no, they are Halo Studios. Now, the logo itself, some people are really hating the new logo. I'm just going to tell you up front, because I don't think it's a big topic. I personally like the new logo for Halo Studios. Again, casual Halo guy here. They're doing something different. And people said, why can't you just do the old Halo? Because they're trying to get away from that. The slate's clean. So they came out, announced they are now Halo Studios, Mav, but they also, Mav, and this is quite funny to me, Mav. Now, we had a lot of discussions about this. We've been talking about this for a long ass time. But another one of those insider leaks that everybody fucking hated on, and everybody told Jez that he's a liar, he's making up shit, and a lot of people got a lot of smoke for this because it wasn't just Jez, but I think Jez was one of the first to talk about the rumors. But people who corroborated on this, people who came out with the inside sources, and everybody said, bullshit. You guys are doing clickbait shit again. And this was long before we went through a lot of the major stuff like that. They confirmed, Mav, Halo is now going to be UE5 going forward.
Yep.
Right? And so it's not just, a side game, right? We had heard that potentially with Certain Affinity, right? With the Battle Royale, was going to be doing it in UE5, right? It's not going to be a side game. This is the mainline franchise is now UE5. They've gone full bore. And in fact, it has been that way for nearly 2 years now. And they've actually been working on a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, testing out, learning UE, testing it out. And they showed up this week to make this announcement, of course, at the championships. What's the championships called again? I always forget, Mav.
The Halo Championship Series, HCS. Yeah, Halo.
Okay, HCS. Okay. So they told us that they were going to have a big announcement there. And sure enough, this was a big announcement. So basically, they're starting over. Starting the complete franchise all over again. Brand new in an engine that is the most popular engine, or one of the most popular. I'd probably say it's the most popular engine in the video game industry. No longer going to use that custom space, slip space engine that they spent all that time, all that money, all the resources, all the training of the contracted workers that caused so many of the issues that we all found out about afterwards. That's all off the table. So now we've got UE5 going forward. And Mav, I'll let you lead on this because obviously, again, you being the biggest fan here and obviously one of the bigger fans overall from the family and somebody who's played Halo so much and somebody who was on the opposite side when these rumors started. We had these early discussions about what if they are doing UE5 for Halo. And you had initially started, and I know you talked about this already. I did hear some of your comments.
Yeah.
You had initially been one of those naysayers. You had been one of those people that said, no way, they can't do this. Like, I don't want this because part of Halo is the feeling of Halo, which comes from that engine, right?
Right.
And if you go to UE5, how are you going to maintain that special feel that Halo has? So you absolutely originally never wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
I think you said you were cool if somebody wanted to do a side project or whatever. You didn't know how that would work out or how it would go along. But if somebody came along and did a UE5 Halo, you'd be fine with it. But the mainline franchise, 343, now Halo Studio, you said no way. Don't do it. But I heard potentially that you've changed your mind, obviously, with what's happened with Halo now. All now that we've gone past the Halo Infinite launch, all the troubles that they had, not having content, but the multiplayer still being great, getting a second life with Forge. Maybe not, and we had talked about this a long time ago. Is Halo the same as it once was? Of course not. It's a different day and age of video games in particular. It's not. It's there's too much. There's too many options. We just got done talking about how many games there are to play. It's not like back in the day. So, but is Halo still a mainstay in this industry? Of course it is. Again, Chief's on my Mount Rushmore, and I'm a casual Halo guy, and I would still put him up there for what he did. But the facts are the facts. Halo just didn't come out the way that they wanted it to. We know about all the turmoil, them firing the entire campaign side of the team completely, them putting in new leadership. Who's the gentleman in charge? You're gonna have to remind me again.
Pierre Heinz.
Pierre Heinz, thank you. Pierre Heinz now in charge. Really focused on the multiplayer. The Forge has been rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
They've been putting out a ton. Again, we got a Helldivers mode coming out. They just announced officially that they're going to do third person mode for Halo as well. So again, support's continued, just hasn't been what everybody initially wanted, and obviously not what Xbox wanted too. That's why they did all these, got rid of Bonnie, massive changes, downsized the studio, and kind of started from scratch with the studio. So it sounds like they've reorganized now.
Yeah.
Now, I'll start there. We'll get into the Rebs gaming video as well with some of the stuff that some of the rumors that he's pulled out from sources as far as what was going on inside the studio prior to all the new management. But for you, Mav, now that you've had time for this kind of announcement to settle in, you've talked about it already, but now that we're a few days past it and you've been able to see kind of where they're going, probably rewatch that showpiece, kind of showcasing what they can do in UE5 with Halo, which again, Chief does look funky to me. It's me opinion, but he does look funky to me. The world looks fantastic, by the way. But Chief, yeah. But now you kind of let it simmer a little bit. And where are you at now with Halo Studios and Halo moving to UE5? We got a new name now. Because my bigger overall question to you, and you can answer it however you want to, do you think we're getting a brand new Halo game? Is this going to be different? Or do you think they go back and do more of the same? What do you think?
Well, that's been my thing is like,
Yes.
along the way somewhere, and we talked about this in some of the shows about like, in the past that at some point along Infinite's lifespan, I became more willing to accept the fact that I'm ready and willing to accept a new take on the franchise going forward, right? And that was when people were talking about speculation of like what they might do with the story, what they could do with different things, and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I was kind of like, whatever is best for this, for us to get more Halo, I was starting to become more okay with because with Infinite at launch, there was a lot of talk about slip space and how it was bad and all this kind of stuff and how it caused all these problems. And I was like, well, I mean, I think they delivered an amazing game, and that was kind of my whole take on it at the time. But then we saw the issues prolong where got like only a couple maps within the year and a half,
Yeah.
and it caused the community to kind of die off, and then because they were having to work so much on the tech stuff and everything, they weren't even able to allocate resources into fixing some of the issues that some of the most hardcore players had, especially in the multiplayer community and all that kind of stuff. The real competitive players and stuff will notice some of those things more than others,
Mhm.
right? And they got put on the back burner and all that kind of stuff. So as these issues that you saw, I was like, why does it take so long to make maps and get this content out and all this other kind of stuff? That was when I was like, okay, like obviously there's something right here going on that makes it a challenge, right? And then we saw Bonnie Ross leave. We saw the shakeups at 343 when they had done the layoffs there. And for me, I was like, okay, so this is going to be like they're moving on from whatever, right? And there was a lot of rumors that came out that they were stopping the Halo Infinite single player content that they had planned, which personally I'm still disappointed in. I would have loved to see that. I think that it would have been probably pretty awesome, and then it could have actually caused a lot of players to come back. But we didn't get it. So at some point during during this, I'm like, okay, as a Halo fan, right? What am I more excited about? Because Halo Infinite was awesome, but then I still ended up not playing it as much as I did even 5 and
Right.
4 and 3, right? So,
Yeah.
like, what and why? Why is that? And I started thinking about it and like, am I willing to accept like it's a completely new take
Mhm.
on Halo or like rebuilding Halo from the ground up and build based on focusing on what made it awesome in the first place? And we talked about this on some shows in the past, and I was like, I'm willing to accept the fact that they might do something different for the next Halo. So now we have this announcement, right? And like I take the L for the launch of Slow Space, right? Like I was saying that they did the right thing because it captured the feel, and that's what cared about most was just keep Halo Halo and all that kind of stuff. I'm willing to accept not just a new Halo, but new Halo, right? And that's the biggest thing that this means for me. And but I think that's also going to be the hardest thing for other Halo fans to wrap their head around, the people that want everything to be there at launch and want everything to feel the same and want everything to be the same, but just look better because it's in UE5, right? I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. I think that there's going to be some differences with the way the game plays, with the way the game feels, with the way the game looks, with the way the environments react, with all that kind of stuff. So I'm erasing my expectations, which for me is an exciting thing, right? Because the most exciting thing for me is the fact that Microsoft and Xbox is not only keeping invested in Halo, but they're doubling down on it with multiple projects, growing individual teams within newly named Halo Studios to make different Halo experiences, right?
Mhm.
And I have a lot of faith in Pierre Heinz because they brought him in to fix Master Chief Collection. He did an amazing job. If you were watching our channel at the early days when we first started streaming a lot, I was playing the hell out of Master Chief Collection. We did a lot of community stuff, and we're always playing with people, and I just love the Master Chief Collection. And a lot of what we were experiencing was because of the work that he focused that team on. Right then, once Monty Ross left, he became head of Halo Infinite as well as 343. And then you see turnaround of the content pipeline going on with Halo Infinite, and they kind of got things streamlined and fixed. Even with all the layoffs, they changed how they're doing things. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the fact that Forge finally got completed, and the communities there pumping out content as well. But the studio's also done a better job at getting things streamlined and getting things more organized and having a regular pipeline of content that's more normal for like a service-based multiplayer free-to-play game, right? So all of that has been awesome with what he's done, and I think Halo Infinite's in a really good place right now. I think it's going to be an awesome game for a long time because it plays great, looks great, it has great content, and it has a very, very passionate Forge community as well. That's just going to completely do amazing things like the Hell Jumpers thing that we just had announced also or shown recently. So third person mode's also coming out for it. I mean, there's just tons of reasons to still be excited for Infinite. So I'm willing to say, okay, I'm still gonna have Infinite. I'm still gonna have Master Chief Collection. I have the whole legacy of Halo. I have all the things always known and loved about Halo, about what Halo was, and about the way they used to make these Halo games. And now I'm excited for what is this different future where there is using different technology and are able to make things a little bit more freely now that they are switching engines right into UE5. And that actually has me really excited. So, will it feel like Halo? It's probably not going to feel exactly like the Halos of the past, right? But can it still be awesome? Can it still be great? I have the faith that they will make something awesome and great because they're putting a lot of resources into it. So I'm willing to accept something new, just a fresh take on it. It seems like they're trying to like go back to the roots of building the foundation up, and hence the name of the project that they did, the Foundry. They're talking about as kind of like the essence of the building blocks of making Halos, and this is the now the building blocks of making new Halo,
Right.
right? The Project Foundry. They talked in the Xbox Wire post about how this isn't just a tech demo. This is actually the foundation of them learning how to make Halo games in Unreal Engine. And they went as far as to say even some of the stuff that we see and the environments and all that other kind of stuff in the actual Foundry presentation that we got could end up being in some of these Halo projects, right? The environments, which also leads to some speculation about remakes because it looks awfully similar to some past Halo games as well, right? So um, I'm super excited for it. Like I've passed my having needs to be exactly that. I do think it's going to cause an issue, right? Because I already see in the chats and a lot of
Mhm.
people when I'm talking about Halo on the streams and the shows that we've been doing this past week ever since the announcement that everybody still is going to want it to have every mode that every Halo's had, right? They're
Yep.
still going to want it to have and feel just like Halo's always felt. And for me, that's going to create the possibly this separation between the community about people excited for what's new and then people upset about what it's not. So I think the most important thing is for them when they announce the actual new projects is to be extremely clear on the messaging about what we're getting,
Mhm.
and don't oversell, don't overpromise, right?
Yeah.
Just set the expectations. If it's going to only have multiplayer and campaign,
Yeah.
right? Say that, right? And then say that, hey, this is the foundation of the game. We're building like we did originally, and we're gonna add onto it over the years with new iterations and new games over time. I think the expectation in people's minds will be that because it's easier for them to make content now because it's in UE5, that it should be easier for everything to be there at launch and all that other kind of stuff. But Halo always has these expectations that no other franchise has. No other game has these expectations, right? To have everything every previous game has ever released and then add it on top of and make it better and then also add new stuff and then have the crazy pipeline of content, but also has to have the best graphics, also have the best gameplay, and if it has issues it has to be fixed immediately and all these other kind of things, right? Like no other games have that level of standard
Mm.
that Halo brings, right? The only thing I can come close to is Call of Duty. Call of Duty is made by like an entire publisher, pretty much, of tons of different teams, and they don't iterate on each game as much as Halo does from one to the next,
Right.
right? So, I think that for me, my most important thing is to erase my expectations about what to expect from the new Halo and be able to judge what they create for what it is and see how I like it, and then hopefully it's an amazing thing and they can build from it, right? But I'm not going to go into it expecting the same things that I would expect from them using all the same technology and just making another mainline Halo game, right? Because they're taking new it's new formula. It's gonna be new, like they said, new recipe, new this, new that.
Mhm.
And I think there's gonna be, even though it's the easier engine to develop for, it's still trying to make something that's always been based on a certain technology using something else. So it's gonna be different, right? And even if they can capture the look and the feel as much as possible, it's still gonna be different, I think. So um, for me, it's about being excited for what that is,
Right.
and that's the thing for me. It's like I just want to see it. I want to see what their direction is. I want to know what the projects are. I want to know if they're gonna do like they're gonna do separate projects, single player, multiplayer. Is gonna be separate, or are they going to do like different genres? Are they going to start letting having other developers involved in collaboration with Halo Studios as well to make different experiences and stuff? Like the more Halo for me, the better. And this makes it possible, right? Because they're not having to be this engine tech building company maintaining something super old to try and bring it and make it current. They already have Epic doing that, right? And the Epic is working with them to do that, specifically for Halo as well. And plus, they have other studios
Oh
they
yeah.
can lean on for support that are masters
Tim
at
Sweeney was
this.
pretty happy.
Oh,
He
dude,
made a
this is such
post.
a
He made a
huge
post.
marketing thing for Unreal Engine. Could you imagine?
Yeah, he made
Imagine
a
it,
post
like
right away.
it's
Yep.
going to be very
Yeah.
important for Epic for
Yeah.
Halo to be successful in the Unreal
Right.
Engine.
Yeah. Tim was out there right away.
Yeah.
Right away. So Halo still has a power. People have questioned whether or not that's still it is. It's still a draw. It's still something again that you ask the average person who isn't a gamer, they know who Master Chief is or Halo. Does that, what is that? It's one of the most popular brands out there for video games by far. Like it's not, so it always still has that power. For me, and then I want to kind of spin this right into Rebs Gaming and his sources and what he found out. And see, get your reaction to that too, Matt, because it kind of goes into
Yeah.
what you were just talking about a little bit too. So, but for me, this is something that, again, when we first heard that this was possible, when obviously all this stuff happened with 343, now Halo Studios, and we talked about the future of Halo just in general, even whether or not it was Unreal Engine 5, it really didn't matter at the time. When we were just talking about the future of Halo, this was best case scenario that I, as the casual Halo guy, said it could happen. The slate is completely clean. There is no, sure, you still have the Halo IP, and sure, you still have expectations you have to live up to that you talked about, Mav. But
Yeah.
right now, with where Halo's at, and again, with where the video game industry as a whole is at, where Halo doesn't necessarily hold that trophy anymore or have to hold up on its back Xbox anymore like it used to, that all that part of it is gone. They have a chance now to break away from the past and really forge ahead into many different directions,
Mhm.
right? And we are hearing that they have multiple projects in the works, all that kind of stuff. But what you had to do, Mav, is you had to stabilize, and this is where I'll get back to UE5. You had to stabilize what was going on. And we found out, and this was well known, it was well known by a lot of people, that Microsoft, Xbox, never hired a lot of permanent staff for 343. A lot of it for Halo was contracted workers. And they would have to come in, learn slip space, and they'd only be contracted for a year or two. And they would learn slip space, but it would take them 6 months to get up to speed on this engine that was different from most game engines. And then they were already half their contract, or a third of their contract basically was already done at that point once they got comfortable. And then they would start working, and then their contract would be up. And the cycle would start all over again. And that was one of the major problems that everybody pointed out with Halo Infinite specifically, and Slipspace, was you had this constant turnaround. Well, it doesn't appear, Mav, from the outside right now looking in, that they're going to necessarily all of a sudden hire on 500 people to work on Halo again. Like that's just not going to happen. So they're probably going to go back to contracted workers, or they're going to partner with other studios like certain affinities of the world, or other studios internally, right? As we've seen Xbox now do. Now, we talked about that in the past too, as they acquired all these studios. Like, you're going to see, we hope you're going to see a lot of teams work together. Well, now with UE5, that makes that much easier to do, right? That makes it, you need a team, you need a support team to come on. You can go across the industry pretty much to anybody and say, hey, have you worked on UE5? And you got a good shot that most of them have. And you can hire a support team from pretty much anywhere to come help you, like other studios do in this industry. That's not abnormal. And you don't have to teach them a brand new foreign language when they walk in your door to work on Slipspace. So this is going to make and streamline this process that has been a hiccup for Halo in particular, kind of go away and smooth it out. And I think having that baseline, like, okay, we've got the world's most popular engine, or one of the top two most popular engines in the entire world for Halo now, and you're going to see people be able to walk in and create things. And then when you do, I hope, again, my point being, when we talked about this in the past with the clean slate, there's so much lore to explore. There's so many different things to explore within the Halo universe. If they decide to start giving other people chances to tell stories within this universe, Mav, well,
Yeah.
shit, now you got a whole bunch of people raising their hands, right? Because now you got an engine that all is one, it's all congruent. It'll all be one. Halo, all be UE5. And people can raise their hands and go, we'd love to work on a project. We'd love to try this. Let's go do this. And I think that's a massive deal. And I got to say, from what they showed us with the Foundry, I love the idea behind the Foundry. Again, I know, folks, a lot of this stuff is just your basic corporate speak, or you're putting your best face on when you get in front of the cameras for the first time. We see this a lot, right? We've seen this from other studios, other publishers all the time. Everything is sunshine and rainbows and unicorns when you get to go out there and announce, hey, we're doing something different. Like, this is what we've
Mhm.
been doing. But I really do think that as a collective internally now with under Heinz and kind of what he's brought to stabilize there after the leadership change, I think as a collective, as a group, I think they have a focus, right? And that this foundry thing brought them together to really focus on one thing and make sure that they all understood where they were going with Halo, what it was going to be like in Unreal Engine 5, and it really gave them confidence of what they could do bringing that vision of Halo to a new engine and to have a fresh start, maybe on a fresh new project, right? Whatever that is, multiple projects potentially, right? That we're hearing. And I think that that's the biggest thing that they could have done. Like this switch and then creating this name for what they were doing, the Foundry, right? Which obviously has its base roots in Halo, and everybody knows that the lore. But using that to bring the team together after these massive changes, after all this criticism that they've had to take, rightfully so, and a lot of times for what happened with Halo Infinite, and really get them back to that team atmosphere and have them work on something together. I think that was came through in this video a lot, right? That's why I've always said I love these behind the scenes videos. Sure, you can spit shine them, you can make them look prettier than they actually are, but I still think the genuine enthusiasm that you get from your teams, from the dev teams themselves, that we don't get to see in this industry very often, like we do in sports or anywhere else where we get to see the actual players that are doing what we love, that we're enjoying the hobby. I think that gives it a different level. And seeing all these people on there really involved in this foundry and really feeling good about what they had done, that speaks volumes to me for the future of Halo as well. Is it going to be different? I think it is. I heard Mag talking about this with Boom. I saw one of his clips that somebody had clipped off of him from Primetime Gaming, I think it was the other night. And, I think Meg's spot on. I think that they are probably going to do the CE, the rumored CE
Mhm.
remake, right, for the old school fans. But I do think that going forward, Halo itself could feel different to your point, Mav, and could just be a different overall experience than maybe what Halo originally was and what it became. And that's to me, that's okay. Not everybody's going to agree with that, but I think that's okay going forward. Now with the spot that they're in, the spot that Xbox is in with all of these studios, with all of this IP, with all of this talent, I think you got a real chance to move Halo in a new direction. And I really do think that you got a chance to kind of carve out what 343 never successfully could, because they had so many big shoes to fill. And like you said, Mav, it was always so unfairly judged as having to be so perfect on everything because of the legacy, even though that's not what 99% of the gaming industry games do. They had to be the shining example in multiplayer, in campaign, and in Forge mode when that became big, in all these different areas that other games don't have to live up to. I think now this is a complete fresh start. And I think they got a chance to carve their own history with Halo now. And I think
Yeah.
make it their own in Unreal Engine 5 and have other people jump in with them and help create that lore too, and expand out and find new places to discover Halo, not just the Master Chief story, right? But other places that haven't been explored before, which I think has been something they've been lacking in for a very long time, that it could have maybe, kept Halo in a better spot in the long term had they done it back in the day. It just didn't work out that way. So this is exciting for me as
Yeah.
a casual Halo fan. I'll put it that way. So Mav, with Rebs Gaming too, Rebs Gaming came through and he put out a video today, but he had also kind of broken it down on X. So um, Rebs Gaming, obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, great follow on X, really into Halo. Lots of good information, has good sources, always showing off new Forge stuff. Rebs Gaming is good people. So I would definitely go follow him. Again, take it for a grain of salt. But when he says something like, I've got a good source that was an ex dev at the studio at 343 and they gave me this information, I'm going to go ahead and believe him that this is the case. And it's nothing really far out there. It just kind of adds. And I want to ask Mav about a couple things here. So key points out of this video, and you can go watch the video. But key points from the video: 343's former campaign team began developing Infinite 2 in Slipspace Engine right after the Infinite released. So they had already supposedly been working on a sequel right away from the get go. Development lasted through 2022 until the new leadership took over and switched to Unreal Engine 5 in late 2022, which makes sense. Again,
Mhm.
they kind of canceled at that point. Said, yeah, well, if we're switching engines, what's the point of continuing to work on Infinite 2? That's not going to make any sense. Former creative team spent the following few months learning Unreal Engine 5. He did go on to say, and this is again, I could see how this would be a thing. Again, take it for a grain of salt. But he said the campaign team never felt supported by new leadership. Issues from old leadership remained. New leadership maybe outsourcing the campaign content. Microsoft laid off the entire creative team in January 2023, which kind of lends to what that previous statement about the campaign team never feeling supported. Obviously, we knew the multiplayer was continuing to be worked on, that Forge was coming, and that was going to be a big emphasis for them. And that plus they got into a better rhythm releasing content. So obviously, the multiplayer team was still rolling. I could see how the campaign team kind of felt left out, and then obviously they got disbanded. Right, the campaign team got completely left behind. Um, Halo Infinite 2 was being developed alongside Project Tatanka. Now, also in this video, it was he said that he had initially heard that Tatanka was completely canceled. Now, Mav, refresh my memory. The original rumors from Jazz was Tatanka was certain affinities.
Yeah, so he went on to say in the video
Yeah.
that then he had heard from other
Yes.
people that it became Project
Mhm.
Ecker,
Correct. That's what I
when
was just
it
going to
turned
say.
into something bigger than Tatanka.
Right, but he it made it sound like it was being developed internally at Halo Studios,
I
which
think I
which is
maybe
weird.
he was yeah, he didn't mention that, but Tatanka
Yeah,
was certain affinities thing.
you're right.
And that was so this is something I was going to touch on, but real
Yes,
quick,
go
can I
ahead.
get to the super chat real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead, man. Go ahead. Yeah, take over.
Um Alvin hit us with a $5 super chat. Says, can't bring back a game called Combat Evolved with 25-year-old gameplay. The boomers will just have to get over it. Damn the social media response. No matter what happens, people will complain about Halo.
Correct.
So I
Correct.
think the best
Yeah,
thing is if the Xbox and the Halo team just ignores the noise and just have a vision for what they want to make and make it, right? 100%. Because if it is good, people will come,
right.
right? Um, Also, we got Abdel, member for 3 months, said, Dragon Ball Z metaphor. We eaten game of the years on Xbox, TTS. Yeah, dude, it's like glorious right now.
Yeah.
But okay, so going back to this, right?
And it's great both of those games are on Xbox because
Yes. And
last
meta
gen probably wouldn't have happened. So
yeah,
just
do
saying.
both of those have marketing rights? Does Dragon Ball Z even have marketing rights on Xbox?
I don't know about Dragon
Yeah,
Ball Z.
I know Metaphor
Metaphor
does,
obviously
yeah.
is. Oh yeah, because it's
Um,
everywhere now. Yeah, but anyways, two games that would have passed on Xbox One. So big.
so I when this news came out, and I was talking on maybe it's FSP the other day, and I was talking about this with Fuzzy
Mhm.
and Psycho and stuff and Game Pass Dad. Like my memory goes back to I was talking about this on Pixelated Echoes last night with Fuzzy and 3-Bit. That's what I was
Okay.
talking about. And my memory goes back to this news and it came out, right? So rumors back then were swirling around the same time that Jez had talked about them moving into Unreal Engine 5. The rumor was about Tatanka originally moving into Unreal Engine 5, which was Certain Affinities project.
Right.
And nobody knew exactly what was going on with Halo Infinite, except for the fact that they had potentially moved on from the single player planned content
Mhm.
for Halo Infinite, which possibly was the Halo Infinite 2 news or information there. They
Right.
could be kind of the same thing internally. Don't
Right.
really know, right? But the certain affinity thing was Project Tatanka. So then I remember around that same time that all that news came out, there was
Mhm.
also an interview with Max Holberman from Certain Affinity, who is the head of Certain Affinity, and they're always been heavily involved with Halo ever since Halo 3, if my memory serves correct. Max Holberman was the basically creator of matchmaking,
Mhm.
right? And then they went on to
Yeah.
become not only support studio for every Halo going forward, but also other huge franchises like Call of Duty. They did multiplayer modes for stuff like Doom as well, and just they're basically multiplayer specialists, right? So the rumor was that they were building Tatanka, which was a battle royale game, Halo, right? And so at the time, it was like, okay, their project moving into Unreal. We're like, what does that mean? Then there was a Max Holdman interview when they were talking about all their projects. You know, they had multiple things going on. They were kind of talking about that. And then they said that the thing they're working on with Microsoft, I think, is their biggest thing they've ever done.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And so this was right after the news had come out about whatever that is, possibly switching to Unreal Engine. And I think that's when they decided to take Tatanka and make whatever Project Ecker is, which is supposed to be, according to Rev's gaming video, something that still exists internally and is being worked on according to his sources and stuff. Right. So I think that there's something there. I don't know exactly what it is, right? It could be a multiplayer focused thing. It could be a separate spin-off game because the rumors were that there could be a spin-off, there could be a remake, and then a mainline,
Right.
right? Like maybe three projects. Now, Halo Studios directly may be also working with other teams. Who knows exactly, right? But now the fact that it's being made in Unreal Engine that opens up the possibilities to have more outside support from even people beyond Certain Affinity as well. So I'm curious about how that's going to work out because we know Microsoft already, with some of their other big franchises, is completely happy and willing to work with other studios. A Certain Affinity was a good fit for Halo because they understood the tech, right? But now Unreal Engine is something else they're already familiar with, obviously, with them working on other games and all that kind of stuff. So I think we have some massive thing that Certain Affinity is building, and then we also have maybe two projects within Halo Studios internally. That's just my own speculation, right? Based on kind of the information that's been out there. I think the Halo stuff internally would be maybe the remake, who they also could potentially get support for because they've gotten support on past anniversary editions from like Saber and other stuff like that. Or we could also see the next mainline Halo game. But I think whatever we get first, I think the best thing to do would be to get rid of expectations that this game has to have everything under the sun at launch. If you did CE remake, original CE only had campaign and it had like split screen multiplayer, right? And you could make it more than that with LAN parties and like if you like rigged it to a router and connected to online via PC, you could go to like XB Connect and all that kind of stuff and play online that way. But uh really the original CE was so focused on just those two things. So if you did a CE remake, I think it would become a building a foundation piece of what to look forward to with the future of Halo games and start from the ground zero of Halo Studios Halo, right? So and even if the next mainline game one isn't the direct follow up to that, even if it's something else, it could still set the groundwork of how to make Halo games within Unreal Engine using a CE remake that's a full on remake, right? Not a reskin, you know. You're on mute, I think, bro.
Yeah, I know. I am on
Okay. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm thinking is going to happen, or what maybe would be a best case scenario. Also, whatever the Certain Affinity thing is, who knows when that's going to come out? But I think that's been in development since 2022. I think that other stuff within Halo Studios now has been in development since around that time. The campaign team, I think the former campaign team obviously probably didn't feel supported because they were canceling their project. So they pretty much scrapped all of them. Now, the part of the video said that they haven't even hired on new campaign teams yet. So they might be outsourcing the campaign teams, or maybe they're building that from scratch, from ground zero, now that they've said they're hiring for all these different studios. So maybe that's part of what this process is. And the Foundry thing was kind of first while they kind of worked on the back end of the technology aspect of it. And now that that's there and they have a plan of what they want to make, maybe they're going to bring in all those other kind of things. But I do have faith in Pierre Heinz.
Yeah,
And I think the what we have going forward is going to be his vision,
sure.
right? And that for me is like having somebody like it kind of asserts themselves as like a clear leader of like, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to do it. Because he even said something in that video talking about now they're to the point where he sees everybody buying into the process, right?
Correct.
which is something like if you're taking over an organization that's used to something, or it's always a transition, right? And it seems like for me, just kind of looking at it on the outside, he seems like the person that has a he seems like a person that has a very clear way that he wants things to be and structured, right? And it's going to be how he sees it is going to be the way it goes, right?
Mhm.
And that can be sometimes a bad thing, depending on what the direction is, but it can also be a great thing if you have somebody that has a clear vision and a clear direction and an understanding of what they want. So I think what we see is going to be a direct reflection on his Halo Studios. And I also think that's why they changed the name, because I think 343, regardless of how we feel, if it's warranted, if it's not warranted, or whatever, it has a stigma behind it, right? It has a stigma with Halo. You know, they weren't Bungie and all this other kind of stuff. So creating this clear delineation, right, of eras in a way, right? You had Bungie, and they said this in the video too. You have 343. Now you have Halo Studios going forward. It's almost like he's saying this is a new studio. This isn't the same people, right? There's a lot of change here. We're changing the structure. We're changing the way we build games. We're changing everything with how the studios run, and that's why we're changing the name as well. So it's Halo Studios now. Yeah, some of the same talent, obviously, for sure. Been a lot of shakeups. They're hiring a lot of new people, but it's good to have a clear vision and direction, and then bring the people in around that, right? To be able to understand, because if anybody now coming in will understand this new culture, right? This new way that we build the games. And it was important. I think it's very smart as well for them to break down the foundation first of how they're going to build the games before they start just hiring and bringing out the people in for the projects and say, all right, everybody, let's figure this out. Right. They had, I think they wanted to get this figured out and structured, and now is the building process for these games. And the other thing he said that was very important was everybody there now is one clear vision, and it's just to make the best Halo,
Mhm.
right? You can say that's very corporate or whatever, right? Obviously, but it's also an important thing when him feeling the need to say that is kind of like the shenanigans of the past are kind of behind us, of everybody being so split on all these other kind of things and priorities and jobs and all this other kind of stuff. We're here to make Halo games,
Right.
right? We're here to make Halo games with multiple projects, and we're hiring for them right now.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. No, and I think so. And again, I I think that the facts are that they do have that clear vision now. You have to have the clear vision. Yes, creative isn't always it's creativeness and creating a game isn't always as simple as from A to B to C to D to E, right? There's a lot of off track that happens when you're doing anything creative. It's not like that. It's not like building a it's not like building a car where everything is already formatted. It is a lot of outs and ins. You got to have one leader who is going to keep you on track when time is necessary, when you do get off track. And again, I think Hines is potentially that guy, like you said, the attitude that he gives off, and like you said, Mav, it is he understands that this is now his Halo, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to do it his way, right? He is going to put his stamp on Halo and this team, understanding, like you said, Mav, that the old 343, the Bonnie Rosses, and those people are now gone, and this is a new era. So I definitely think that came across as well, like you said. My other question, real quick, could it be that certain affinities Project Tatanka, now Ecker, Project Ecker, is the campaign? Could it be that certain affinity took over the campaign because they had a story that they proposed or pitched as part of the battle royale or whatever they were working on, and they could be making the campaign portion of it?
It's possible because they have the history of
Right.
working and helping on that stuff and making the
Yes.
content, right? So,
Yeah.
and they're a very well-run studio. So
Right.
it's possible that, they say, okay, you guys handle this. We're going to outsource this to you. This is what we want.
That's
It's
why they
very
said it's the
possible.
biggest project that they've ever worked on, right?
Yeah,
Could
could
be that
be.
they got that head start on the campaign when they were working on the battle royale and
Yeah.
they just had a story and expanded it. Maybe Xbox came to them when they decided, because obviously the decision was being made. If the campaign team felt that it was already like we weren't being supported. Maybe that's because the decisions were already being made higher up, and so they already knew what they were doing, and so that's why they kind of let the campaign team kind of drift, and then finally just got rid of them, all that kind of stuff. But maybe that was already discussed with certain affinity, like, hey, love what you do with Battle Royale, but here we're moving on Unreal Engine 5 on the core too. We've got this team underneath Heinz that's going to be working on the multiplayer. That we're building out Halo again. We got multiple would you guys want to do the campaign mode because you already got this great thing going? It's potentially that's what they're doing. Again, I just had that thought when I was listening to Rebs Gaming's video, like, well, maybe Certain
Yeah.
Affinity just took over the campaign. If they're going to outsource it, because that was the other part of the rumor was that they outsource the campaign. You got Certain Affinity sitting right there. Like you said, all the experience in the world. Some of you already know that works well with you. As far as Xbox and them go, again, old partnership. They're obviously working on Call of Duty with them now because they own Call of Duty. So it just makes all the sense in the world that that potentially could be. But I think this is overall a great start.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see. We'll see. Nothing is guaranteed. Even when you have a high profile IP, we know this. Nothing is guaranteed that's going to work. But I am willing to, as the casual Halo guy, to give it a go. And like I said, I'm excited because I might get something out of it, like an ODST, which is my favorite Halo of all time. I might get something like that. That's different from the other Halos where I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I definitely love this. I can play this. This is cool. So, thanks, Mav, because again, you being the Halo fan, man, you had to carry that one.
Yeah, and I mean,
There's a
you
lot.
know how I felt about Infinite at launch and all the
Yeah.
conversation there. I
Yeah.
was defensive over like, hey, let's not expect them to have every mode under the sun on the
Yeah.
launch. No Halo, no studio. Like PlayStation couldn't even get factions out for Last of Us, right? Which is their big tent
They
pole,
could
one of their
have.
big tent pole
Sure.
franchises, and then they turn into something big that never ended up even releasing, right? Like,
Right.
and we expect Halo to have everything. It's because it's so games are so different now, the way they're made and how big they are and everything involved with making them than the way it used to be. So I was kind of defensive over the whole co-op thing, and also the Forge thing. I'm like, I'm okay with that being added later, and I'll be
Yeah.
okay with it added later in the next main Halo game,
Right.
right? But the issue I had was the pipeline of content after launch was a real issue, right? With the multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. And then them moving on and not doing the campaign content like we expected from the 10-year game and all this other kind of stuff that they originally had planned on. So that's where I kind of was started to sour on the idea of like the everything being great. Like it just obviously wasn't. And if this, like they said, fixes their issues internally with the pipeline stuff and allows them to focus on just being a studio that makes games, then we're gonna get more Halo experiences.
Right.
And I love the franchise, I love the universe,
Mhm.
and that's the number one thing I want,
Right.
right? And I think it'll be awesome regardless of what it is. I just need to erase my expectations that it has to be just like all the other Halo games I've played before. If
Right.
I want to play those, I will go play those, right? This is not, again, like I keep saying this in all the things whenever I've been talking. This is not just a new Halo, right? This is going to be new Halo.
Correct.
We'll see what it is. Could suck ass. Could be amazing.
It could suck ass, right? The potential's there. That's what always gets me excited. Again,
Yeah,
I
I don't
understand
think
why.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah, no,
Honestly,
I mean I understand why some people are like, whoa, 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 let's calm down. Again, this is still three. They
yeah,
can
for sure.
rename themselves, but this is still 343, right? This is like still like
I
I
mean,
get that. Like
but
they,
is it really though? Because all the main leadership is pretty
yes,
much
the main
gone.
leadership's gone.
Yeah,
Yes, right.
and like okay, so let's say like you have like a business and you have like all the management and the ownership and all that stuff is like all the people that manage the operations and everybody is gone and you got things to like okay, this person was good, okay, this person was good, this person was good, these people did their job, these people are super talented, okay, let's keep that. All right, new right, you were the start shining star before and you had your shit together, you're the head of the studio, right? What is your vision? And he's like, I want to do this, 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 right? We got to get rid of these guys, we got to do this, we got to get rid of this, we got to, and it's like, okay, now we're gonna switch engines, right? Because apparently it was his decision too to do that, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna switch engines, we're gonna do it, like, and it's like, okay, now we're going to we're going to get the Project Foundry greenlit, which is like the research project for making new Halo games. And then now we're going to start hiring for these studios. So yeah, you still have a skeleton there for what 343 was, but I really do see this as like an entirely new kind of studio thing with the way it's being formulated and directed. And like they said in the thing is like the way we made Halo games in the past is gone. This is going to be the way. This is going to be the new recipe for how we make Halo games, right? So I think you can have, and I think the name change was to delineate, create that separation, also to give this new version of them an identity.
Correct. Yeah, it's gonna definitely go a long way to establishing that.
Yeah.
That's what they. Again, you got to come out swinging.
Yep.
Because you
100%.
got to make your mark, bro, early. You got to do it.
Oh, the
So,
next whatever the
yeah,
first big Halo thing they come out with has got to be
it's got
like they said, it's got to be a graphical showcase. They said that in the presentation, and it's got to be an amazing playing game. And they got to stay true to the core roots of the franchise.
they do.
So
They
they
do
they
their
got
own
to
thing, but they
find
have
their
to keep the
balance
core.
with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. As we mentioned real quick too, Tim Sweeney's post that happened on October 6th, right after this was announced, was the first, he quote tweeted Xbox Wire and said the first Halo redefined console gaming in 2001. And over the generations, Halo has pushed the state of the art forward with amazing gameplay, story, and music. Epic is honored that the Halo Studios team has chosen our tools to help with their future work. Dude's excited. Dude's excited. Like Mav said earlier, it is a huge W for that team, for Epic in general, that Halo is now going to be known for UE5. So,
Yep.
and obviously, hopefully, the future UEs, whether that's six down the road or wherever that happens. So, big moment for a lot of people here. So, that was definitely the big topic of the week, Mav. But let's get into this other one that just kind of formed this week, too, as well. Google was ordered this week that they have to open up their store, Mav. So, and in the US, right? And there's even bigger stuff going on. The DOJ is still talking about breaking up Google. Like this could snowball. And
Right.
Apple's got to be sweating a little bit here with this announcement as well. Obviously, most people know the fight between Epic and Google has been ongoing. Remember, Microsoft joined in on the Epic side of things because they want the Google Play Store opened up. They want the Apple Store opened up for their own selfish reasons, which is, again, very reasonable. When you remember how bad Microsoft got swatted around by the DOJ back in the day, Google and Apple have a duopoly that most people say can't be toppled. Even they're even saying right now, even with these latest dealings with Google, that it might not be enough to open up anything. But according to gamesindustry.biz, real quick, I'm going to do this and then we're going to get to the
Mhm.
Sarah Bond tweet today or before we went live here. So experts say Google Play opening up in the US will have minimal impact. Enabling app stores to distribute via Google's marketplace won't solve discoverability or user migration challenges, says analysts. So just to summarize here, this is from James Batchelor, editor-in-chief over there at gamesindustry.biz. Earlier in the week, U.S. courts mandated that Google must, for a 3-year period, open up its Play App Store to allow more competition. This ruling follows the trial opposing Epic and Google late this last year, where the jury voted in favor of the Fortnite firm. The changes Google has now been told to make include allowing third-party app stores to be distributed via Google Play, sharing Google Play's full catalog of apps with the stores unless app developers opt out, no longer forcing developers to use Google Play billing, for which Google gets a 30% fee on all transactions, even for apps distributed through the Play Store, allowing developers to direct users to alternative stores and payment systems. Google is appealing against the judge's decision, but this is a lengthy process and ruling comes into effect November 1st, 2024, although Google will have 8 months to put all the changes into place. Epic is already hailing this as a victory, particularly now how it finally has its own mobile store, but experts tell GameIndustry.biz that opening up Google Play in the US may not have much impact as people think. Quote, I'm not expecting these changes to have a dramatic impact on the dynamics of the mobile games market in the US, says Piers Harding Rolls, head of games research at Ampere Analysis. Firstly, in the terms of the overall market, the U.S. mobiles market is dominated by spending on iOS, with Android taking a minor share. Game companies won't stop bringing their games to Apple devices, even if the App Store rules are not as favorable as Android potentially, and consumers won't, in general, choose Android phones just to get access to Epic Game Store on mobile. Secondly, Android consumer preferences and behavior are unlikely to change significantly from what is done today. Android users have access to multiple app stores already, but Google Play still dominates. These rulings will make it seamless to discover and access from other app stores, but there are still fees and charges that Google will be allowed to make for Google Play based policing, which could undermine the free market impact. I won't read all the other ones. I'm going to get down to the part that I want to read real quick. Oh God, this just keeps, I didn't know how big it was. Let's see here.
Yeah, I get
Um,
myself into trouble sometimes. I'm gonna read this article and I start
yeah,
reading it, and then it's like, oh my god, this is like going and going
I
and
know.
going.
Here we go. So, different nations and regions adopting different measures will ultimately just benefit Apple and Google. Explains the more complex this all becomes, the more developers and players will just stick with what they know. However, Long maintains that there is a long term opportunity for alternative app stores. And if major companies can establish a foothold, it should diminish the dominance of the mobile platform holders. Quote, those heavyweights like Epic and Xbox need to seize the moment now and really make a big splashy effort to get people onto their stores regularly, he says. Mobile is not a space for subtly,
Subtlety.
subtle. Yeah. Anyways, thank you. The benefits, God, there's some nights where the words just don't work. The benefits need to be very clear, and these stores need to be really easy to use. But that's all with the caveat that Google, like Apple, will do everything it can within the new proposals to slow down the adoption of these stores and alternative payment systems. All right, so then we're going to piggyback off of that with a Sarah Bond's tweet saying, and that was done today at 5:31 p.m. The court's ruling to open up Google's mobile store in the US will allow more choices and flexibility. Our mission is to allow more players to play on more devices, so we are thrilled to share that starting in November, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox app on Android. All right, Mav, first things first, do they already have a deal in place with Google? Because that article said they will have 8 months to implement the changes. Sarah Bond is saying directly in November, like out the gate, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox app, and on Android. So sounds like they might have already cut a deal with Android maybe to get theirs on there, and Google's not going to fight. It's interesting. But Matt, the
Yeah.
thing that you caught your attention on this, and something that we've talked about, we know has been in the works, right? Phil's admitted that it's been in the works, right? We were actually supposed to get more news. I think Phil officially said like later this year,
Yeah.
and they haven't talked about it, that we were eventually going to be able to play our purchase games, right, through
Mhm.
the Xbox app, right? That we were going to be able to play them, anything purchased, right? Um, but obviously there are hangups, obviously with the Google Play Store and Apple, but this is specifically with Google, that we couldn't even buy games through the Xbox app because everything had to go through the Google's payment system. So now Xbox, we just got the merger of their apps, right? And everything
Mhm.
all into one, right? On the Xbox app. And now it sounds like with this news, at least on Google, on Android, when you pull up the app, you're going to be able to purchase your games directly through there because it's not going to go through, it won't have to go through Google's Play Store payment system where they get 30%. So now Xbox is going to be able to have their own payment system in place through their own app, and you'll be able to buy games right there. But the interesting part is, Sarah says, in November, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox apps on Android. So is she hinting, Mav, like you were talking to me in the background, is she hinting that we are closer? It's going to be sooner than later that we are going to be able to play all of our purchase games, or is this still going to be limited functionality? Do you think? What do you think is going on here, Mav? What do you think
I
overall?
think this is the start of that
Okay.
because she made a point to say play and purchase, right?
Mhm.
Which you can already play Game Pass games via the app,
Correct.
right?
Right.
via the cloud. So
Right.
making a point to say play and purchase. Um, it seems like things are kind of lining up because we look at a process that's been happening. Okay, first we just had the Game Pass app fold into the Xbox app,
Yeah.
right? So now there's just the Xbox app. Game Pass as an ecosystem, Xbox as an ecosystem, Game Pass is something that exists within that,
Right.
right? So when that happened, I was already speculating about this could be the first move towards our game library being available because what would be the other reason to do that? They're wanting to take this Xbox ecosystem everywhere, right? They want you to be able to have your Xbox on a phone. You want to be able to have your Xbox on a PC, your Xbox on the console, right? So the PC, they already have their storefront, right? We're getting the benefits of a lot of that already. But mobile has been being blocked, right? They weren't allowed to have their storefront. So by putting your storefront on Google devices, right? You're looking at it like, okay, well, now we can buy games on mobile. Well, obviously, if they want you to be able to buy your games on mobile, they want you to be able to play them that way too. And your Xbox store is going to exist on mobile through Microsoft. So if they're reaching all these Android users, which is millions and millions and millions of them that don't own consoles, that don't own PCs, what's the main benefit of having your storefront on there? It's not to buy the game so you can go play it on your console or your PC. It's to buy it to play it on your device. Well, I don't expect the Xbox games that are these next level games coming out to be able to run natively on people's Google phones, like Android phones,
Not
right?
yet. We're getting there, but
Not
not yet.
yet, eventually, right?
Yeah.
So the only answer for me is game ownership. Your library,
Mhm.
right, is going to be playable via the cloud
Mhm.
on Android devices. And then later, once that whole thing happens with Apple, eventually Apple as well, right? So, but they have like half the market share with Android pretty much. So already that's a huge leap. They've already done deals in the past with like Samsung for their phones and all those other kind of things and stuff. So uh, Phil's already said it's coming this year in the past as well. And this Sarah Bond tweet, I think, is alluding to that without making it very clear. I think it's alluding to that. I think they have more to announce on it, more in a official capacity, right? When they have their first batch of games that are available to be ran that way. I don't know all the licensing technicalities and all that kind of stuff, but I think a part of it is like the Xbox store, right? It would be the games that you purchase through the Xbox store,
Correct. Correct.
right? So they're saying, hey, if you buy it here, you can play it on PC, you can play it on Xbox, you can play it on mobile, right? And to do that, you got to have the cloud. So um, the other factor is that okay, so is that only going to be available to Game Pass Ultimate subscribers? Because you can only play, a game.
Mhm.
Well, like the cloud is only available for Ultimate right
Correct.
now. So
Correct.
I think that's going to change. I think the cloud is going to be available for all the gamers that purchase the games on mobile potentially. Because
Mhm.
what would be the point? I'm purchasing a game on mobile and not being able to play it
Unless we get the mobile Game Pass that we have to
unless you get
sign
the
up
mobile
for.
game pass or something like that, right? So there's going to be changes. I think there's
Right.
got to be changes to that whole thing as well. I don't think they expect mobile gamers to pay $20 a month and
No,
then still
I
have to
hope not.
purchase their games for access to play their games via the
Although
cloud.
they're still charging people on Amazon that much,
Right. And
for
that's
which
also
we
the
talked
same
about
as
the
kind
cloud
of like
tickets.
Nvidia's
Yeah.
GeForce Now is the way that works.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe that's what they do. But ultimately, you're looking at the ability to buy, I think, your games on Google, which they already said, and then being able to play them there as well. So I'm hoping what it means for me is on my Galaxy tablet that I console stream from a lot. I may be able to just launch that Xbox app and have access to my whole library, and I can just stream whatever I want. I have the storefront right there. I can buy my games through it. I can do whatever the hell I want, man. And it would be like having a little Xbox on the go because the cloud functionality on that thing has been amazing this past year. They made a lot of improvements, it seems like, because it's running great for me every time I use it, even if I'm just launching through the Game Pass app. But now it's like you can kind of see the whole Xbox Everywhere initiative taking into full effect. It's no longer the Game Pass app, it's the Xbox app, right? You open your Xbox within a device, right? So I'm opening my Xbox within an Android tablet or an Android phone. I got my controller, turn it on. You're playing on an Xbox controller on a screen on the go. You got the cloud, and that experience is only going to get better and better and better. And I think the next step is also Amazon with the Fire um sticks and
Six.
stuff like that, because already when that launched was the first precursor, I think, because when that app came out on the Amazon devices, it was just called Xbox. It wasn't called Game Pass. And we were like, why isn't it called Game Pass?
Right.
Because it's going to be your gateway to Xbox and not just Game Pass.
Mm.
Otherwise, it would just be labeled Game Pass. It's your gateway to Xbox. So this is why they've done the apps that way. They've changed the Android app. This is why the Amazon app was labeled as it is. I expect it to happen everywhere that Xbox exists in the future. Starting this November is probably when we're going to see a rollout. Would be game ownership, and I don't know how the process is going to roll out on all that kind of stuff, but that's what I'm speculating on. This is what I'm thinking.
Well, like the article said, they got to capitalize, and I think
Yeah,
Xbox realizes they got to capitalize. Microsoft knows they got to capitalize if they're going to do this mobile thing, which they are. I mean, again, it's not been a secret either. That's been announced. This is the moment that they've been waiting for, and I think that's why Sarah is
yeah.
saying that they're going to get this done in November. They're going to put themselves out there no matter what. Because you have to take advantage. Like even if it's for a limited time, like it is right now, 3 years, but you have to be ready to do this. Plus, this rollout here, whatever they're planning on doing here, I'm assuming that they are hoping that this is going to be the start where other places like the EU and stuff do crack open Google as well, and then move on to Apple and start cracking open. They got to be ready to roll out everywhere. So they're going to use this as a moment to get that perfected and to have their system in place and be able to have their storefront ready, because we heard their mobile store is only going to be browser based to begin, right? So this is why they got their app up and running to be able to do this. That's going to kind of take that place, and I think that they, obviously we're sitting back just expecting that this was going to happen to Google at least, and they had to be able to jump in right away. So obviously Sarah's excited, which because like you said, Matt, it's a big part of their initiative. Xbox, everywhere, reaching 2 billion, 3 billion people. This is what needed to happen, and they've got to take every advantage that they get in the mobile space to try to grab any piece of the pie that they possibly can, even though all the analysts say it's nearly impossible to get any foothold here now with Google and Apple being the way that they are. You still got to go for it. And I think they've got to make the best showing possible here. And a great showing, Mav, would be to start that. You get to play any
Mhm.
purchase games on the cloud via your
Okay,
phone.
I mean, that's such a, like,
Yes.
value add.
Huge. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Again, you don't get that everywhere. Just what we're talking about, play anywhere already, just on some of these third-party games that aren't even Game Pass deals, like Metaphor Refantasio, be able to buy that and be able to play it on PC or console. Like that's massive, man. Or on my handheld, if I had a handheld, or when Xbox comes out with their handheld, it's massive. It's a benefit that other places
Mhm.
just don't give you. They've got to use that to their advantage and promote it. So
And
it's
for the whole conversation, Xbox needs a handheld or whatever. Just imagine every device out there, for the most part, being capable of being like an Xbox handheld
correct.
for your library and for your, Game Pass games.
Huge.
Yeah.
Potentially just absolutely massive. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Um, cool. Let's see where we want to go next here.
Cool, man.
Cool,
Cool.
cool,
Cool.
cool.
Cool. You wanna talk about Splinter Cell?
Well, yeah, we could go ahead and Splinter Cell real quick. It's not, it's big because Mav and I talked about it, because of the Ubisoft drama, because of what's going on at Ubisoft, and again, there was some rumors coming out that potentially that other titles were being put on hold, or slowing down or potentially being looked at, because of the situation. And then one of them was Splinter Cell. And Mav and I said, "Oh, of course, here we go." Again, Star Wars Outlaws. One of the main complaints from everybody was the stealth missions, and they're going back and redoing those stealth missions to make them easier. And of course, we, sitting here going, Jesus, they have all these problems, and now on top of it, people complaining about stealth missions. Well, shit, Splinter Cell's all stealth. Here we go. Yves is going to wind up dropping this thing, right? Well, shout out to Tom Warren and Insider Gaming, and this is actually coming from Mike Straw over there at Insider Gaming.
Tom
Real
Henderson. Tom Henderson.
Tom, what did I say? Tom
Yeah.
Warren.
Well,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah. I usually
we
don't
get
screw
our
that one up.
we get our Toms.
I usually get the Toms right. Tom Henderson. Yeah, shout out to Tom. Anyways, Insider Gaming clarified some things today. One of them we already knew, like Mav told me that we did, because we sat here and discussed it when it first was announced that they were going to reboot Splinter Cell. Kind of Insider Gamer made a big deal that the game is under development in the codename North. In addition, the codename sources had confirmed the game is being built in the Snowdrop engine. They had made that announcement in the blog post that there was going to be Snowdrop. Previous Splinter Cell games had used Unreal Engine 2 and 2.5. But the big one is, let's see here. Hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so they start off the article by saying the Splinter Cell remake is making progress at Ubisoft, despite the rumors that the game had been quietly canceled. So, and then they confirmed that the code name is still North and they're still being worked on. It goes on to say, first announced in December 2021, the Splinter Cell remake is being led by Ubisoft Toronto. The studio seemed to tease information on the game coming soon. However, that has yet to happen. When it was first revealed, the game's producer Matt West said that it was in a very earliest stages of development. He added that the game was being built from the ground up with updates to the game's visuals, while saying that the game would remain linear. Quote, as we are building from the ground up, we are going to update it visually as well as some of the design elements to match our player comfort and expectations, and we're going to keep it linear like the original games, not make it open world, West said at the time. The gameplay experience we are targeting is directly tied to what we want players to feel, to capture the essence back when we were all playing the original games. This is where Mav and I were just orgasming over the whole blog post, going, Jesus, if they're really doing it this way, like every answer was spot on. That answer was exactly what we wanted to hear from them at the time. So, Mav, good news here. Nothing major, but if Insider Gaming sources are correct, we can hold off on the rest in peace Splinter Cell for the time being. It's still going, and that we have a code name for it called North. So it's kind of exciting, brother.
Yeah, I like that there's a code name for it.
Yeah.
I think they were kind of trying to present the whole Snowdrop thing as like their breaking news in a way,
Yeah.
because if you read the article, it's like
Yeah.
our sources say, but it's like that's been known since it was announced in 2021. So because Ubisoft told us directly that it's being made in Snowdrop, we talked about the fact that the next Splinter Cell is going to be in Snowdrop in 2021, right when that news came out. So we've been excited about that because it's an amazing engine, right? But like the fact, the good thing is seeing that there is information that the game is still in the works, that things are fine with it. It's just taking a while for them to get there, and they even had a tentative potential release a year of 2026.
Correct.
They said they're too early to call that for sure because it's still early, which also leads me to think if it started development what in 2020, late 2021, they just started, right? And it's not coming out till potentially 2026. They're doing a lot of work on this thing, right? I understand there may have been some turmoil and some issues during development, all that kind of stuff, because it's Ubisoft. What game hasn't had that with Ubisoft? But I'm gonna hold my hope that things are gonna be great and it's gonna be an awesome game and that nothing changes from here on to then. Just just work on the game and then release it. Let's go. That's what I'm hoping.
Correct.
But if there is huge shakeups at Ubisoft coming up, then anything could happen. So
Yeah,
we'll
anything.
see.
I mean, again, right,
Yeah,
this is Ubisoft.
yeah,
This is Yves. This is the Guillermo family. This is
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
I'm not going to hold my breath on anything.
No,
Like,
no, it's not with Ubisoft right now.
especially since we
Um,
haven't seen anything since the blog post. So,
Yo, Decado gifted us with 5 Fun Speculation memberships. Broski.
oh boy. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. The Decado has entered the building, everybody. Welcome aboard, Decado. He just bought 5 tickets. We got a whole new car full of speculators. Welcome aboard, speculators. Please take your seats and please pay attention to those assistants as they walk around and show you how to buckle in those 4-point harnesses. We are now at a Mach 2.5 with the Ducato getting on the court with the easy 5. That's right, the easy layup, the little finger roll. That's right. Thank you, Ducato, so much for that, brother, keeping us ad-free in 2024. Hashtag no beans. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Choo-choo. And then he comes in with a choo-choo. Ha, 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 ha.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. I'm so glad we got that back. I was saying, and I can't wait to play that game. I can't wait till that part shows up, dude. I'm gonna die laughing.
Yeah.
And then Ducato with a member for 28 months. Shout out Ducato, 28 months is lurking, playing D4. Have a great show. Thanks, Ducato. You made your presence felt, sir. Enjoy
Appreciate you, bro.
the D4, brother. Anyways, Mav, what I was gonna say here. What were we just talking? Oh, we were talking about the Splinter Cell. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then what I was gonna say is Windows Central just posted actually I just saw it now. It was an hour ago, but I was asking about this. They are saying, Mav, about the Sarah Bond tweet. So this is from who's this from? This is from Samuel Tolbert. Shout out to Samuel Tolbert and everybody over there. Says that starting November, Xbox app users on Android devices will be able to buy games and play them through xCloud Gaming as shared by Xbox President Sarah Bond on Thursdays via Threads. This comes shortly after Google was ordered by a court to open up its mobile storefront. Quote, I don't have to read her quote again. He goes on to say, with support for buying and streaming games added to the Xbox app on Android devices in November, players will be able to instantly buy a game and then play it through the xCloud Gaming, delivering on a feature that has been promised to Xbox players for years. Xbox Cloud Gaming remains mostly exclusive to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, the highest tier of Microsoft's subscription service, which also grants day one access to new first-party games. Following then he just goes on to confirm that following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard King back in 2023, Microsoft gaming executives have repeatedly espoused plans to create an Xbox mobile store. Earlier this year, Bond indicated the store would launch in July 2024, but October has arrived and the store is still not available, although players have discovered a web page for the store. Microsoft currently plans for this Xbox mobile store to begin with first-party franchises like Mojang's Minecraft and King's Candy Crush, though Bond indicated the store would open up to third-party games from different partners over time. Mav, it seems like he's saying that that's exactly what's going to happen, though.
Yeah. Cool.
Big.
Yeah.
Big.
It's
Awesome.
big. It's a step. I think it's going to be something that grows over time. It'd be nice if one day I can just, like I said, just turn on the tablet and hit the Xbox button and have every game I own there, and also Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like there's gonna get to that point maybe with specific games, and they got to make the deals with all the partners and stuff. But I think launching it and doing it, people will start to see the benefit of it as well, because you're making your big games, your big $60-$70 AAA franchises, all these other kind of things now accessible to a lot more people, right? And people that are in the Xbox ecosystem, even if you're just a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, there's like close to 30 million of them. We saw the fact that there's smaller percentage of just regular Game Pass users, right? It's mostly Game Pass Ultimate. So, yeah, I think there's very beneficial for publishers, and Xbox breaking ground with this,
Yeah, totally. Again, this is just all part of the future, and I hope to just keep expanding. Again, it's all beneficial to us as gamers. So
yeah,
I'm all for it, right? Whatever they got to do, this is cool, man. And again, if we see the future and what they're doing, and this just adds to that, where anything can have. Again, think about even a handheld directly, Mav. Yes, we expect it to be native, but let's just say you buy a game on the go and you just want to play it right away. You don't have a chance to download or whatever you want. Just fire up the cloud and you're just going to play it. Like, that's going to be available to you, like right there on your.
And that tech's only going to keep getting better and better.
Better and better and better and better. Correct.
Yep.
Beautiful. Hey, it is October. Everybody seems to love horror and Halloween nowadays. So again, I don't mind horror movies. I personally do like Halloween myself. But Sega this week, Mav, announced a sequel that everybody who loves that genre has been waiting for. Now, I have stated as a fact that I purchased the complete edition of Alien Isolation. Okay. With all the DLC, with every intention, years and years and years ago, of playing that game because I love Aliens as a franchise, right?
Mhm.
I love all the movies basically. Sure, there are better ones and there are worse ones, but I love the entire Aliens lore. I love all of it. I had every intention of beating that game, playing that game, beating it. I survived 15 minutes. So, not seeing the alien, not getting anywhere. I made it 15 minutes, not with headphones on, just with regular TV stereo on. 15 minutes in this game, just in the main kind of area, in the introduction of the game, with the background sound effects. I was so stressed out already that I turned it off and deleted it and have never gone back to it again.
Yeah.
But this game, according to IGN, was a 5. This is one of the most famous reviews that they've done.
Yeah.
This game was a 5. This became a beloved horror franchise. Some people consider this the ultimate Aliens game of all time. Some people say this is their favorite horror game of all time. The Aliens AI in this from Creative Assembly is second to none. Go watch the videos if you've never played this game. The motion, the animation that they gave the alien in this game, to me, is as close as the movie as I've ever seen in a video game. When it comes out of the vents in the ceiling and uncurls on its way down to the ground, you'd swear you were watching a movie, not a
Yeah.
video game. And I'm going by watching other people play it. I'm going by what people have experienced. It hunting you down, it learns your patterns. And the alien adjusts on the fly to what you're doing in game. So this has been a much beloved game for a very long time. People have been clamoring for a sequel, Mav, and Sega has never ever done it. Again, one of these common sense games that I go, why? Why? We all sit back. And we go, this is an instant win, and it's instant money. You have a fan base of millions that will instantly buy this game as long as it's good. Again, you got to make it good. But why have you not done a sequel? Well, they finally this week said that a sequel, confirming it is in development at Creative Assembly. Now, it has been quite a long time. A lot of the Creative Assembly team that was there is gone. And so this is going to be interesting what they do, man. Following up what people do, again, consider as some of the best horror game genre ever. Again, the I've seen people play and just freak out, and so many people enjoy the hell out of this game. Man, what do you think about Alien Isolation get a sequel after all these years from Sega and Creative Assembly?
It's awesome, man. I mean, more games is better, more of these franchises that have been neglected coming out. I'm excited for
10 years.
Creative Assembly too,
Yeah.
because they're a studio. I think they were one of the ones at Sega that actually had some layoffs, if I remember correctly. I
Mhm.
could be wrong about that. I think it was them and maybe Relic.
It was Relic. Yeah.
Okay, Relic. Okay, so like I Creative Assembly is a crazy talented studio because they're extremely diverse in their
Oh,
abilities. Like, I mean, you
versatile.
talk about Total War,
Mhm.
you talk about Alien Isolation, right? And they helped on Xbox, I think, as well with Halo Wars and stuff.
Yep.
So,
Oh, yeah.
like
Amazing.
it's just a crazy talented studio to be able to have such a diverse kinds of games that they create and to have them be so good. Like when all the Sega speculation of it with Xbox acquisitions and stuff, one of my main things was like, hey, you get Creative Assembly because like they're just super talented, right? But seeing this is awesome. I like to see Sega doubling down on bringing this game back. I played some of it also, just the beginning. It is the atmosphere is absolutely crazy what they've
Spot
accomplished with
on,
it.
bro.
Um, so it's something that's going to be like really hyped up, I think, closer to launch.
Oh,
And
hell yeah.
this is one of those things where you see like the obvious home runs that the companies don't
Yep.
take advantage of too much, right?
Yep.
This is one of those that I feel like they're going to, because I this was 10 years ago. Imagine with the new tech and with
Oh,
how
this is
good they
probably gonna be
did
next
then.
gen too, by the way.
Yeah, I just imagine this being like
Yes.
insane.
Insane. Yes.
Um,
Sound-wise, where sound studios have even gotten better, and it was already great back like,
yeah,
all of it. Yeah. Hmm.
because it was already like a technical, like graphical
It
showpiece
was. Like I
when
said,
it
the
came out.
animation, the alien animation,
Yeah,
bro, still haven't seen anything close.
yeah,
Like, we played the other Alien
lighting and like
games,
everything
nothing.
was.
Yeah, everything. If they improve upon all that and they can even now, Mav, even further improve upon the AI of the alien as well,
Mhm.
like this thing could be like crazy good. Like, and I wonder if they add more. I wonder if it's still a single alien or if they add multiple aliens in some way. I wonder what they're gonna do here. But 10 years, it's great. Again, yes, this is the team behind Hyenas. That's when they got a lot of layoffs, Mav. Remember Hyenas was gonna come out and then they canceled that entire game, and then there was layoffs after that. Like I said, a lot of the original isolation team is no longer there. They did move on elsewhere. But again, the DNA is still there. I think I always like to see. I sometimes I do think it's too late, like to recapture what you had. I said this a lot. I got to see it first, but I'm just happy for the horror genre fans that are finally getting a sequel that they've been asking to for a long time. I'm always down for that. I have a long list of games I want to see have a comeback or have sequels made to that never got that chance. So when one does, even if it's not one of mine, I still love it, and I want to see what they do. We'll see if they keep it good, like if they can nail it again, or if it has been too long. But at the end of the day, that Sega is actually doing it. It also shows Mav that Sega is in such a much better place than they were just a few years ago, or just a half decade ago. Like
Mhm.
Sega is really starting their Capcom arc right now,
Yeah,
with a lot of goodness. And that goes to Atlas, that goes to the Yakuza franchise, right? Sonic, the movies are obviously showing that
yeah,
Sonic is still popular. Now, they haven't seen quite that same success with the newer Sonic games, but they're still trying. But Sega themselves is in a good spot where all of a sudden they go, okay, 10 years, it's a 10-year anniversary. Let's announce that we're doing Alien Isolation sequel after all this time. I think that says a lot about Sega too, which is cool.
yeah.
Yep. What about you?
Um, Man, it's gonna be cool to see. This gives me like, okay, so there's one other thing I want you to do, Sega, right? One other thing.
A lot, but yeah.
I want you to get together with Xbox and Obsidian and do Alpha Protocol too,
Yes.
and actually bring that game to
Just
what it could have been if
just
they
sell
had had the
it.
budget and time and all that kind of stuff. Let Xbox run the show on this thing, right?
Just sell them the
Let
IP. You're not gonna
Yeah,
do anything with it, Sega. You're
yeah.
not.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just sell them the IP,
Just sell them
right?
the IP. Come on, you guys got a great relationship. I still think it's happening. Yeah. I still think I know it might be blind faith.
Yeah,
I know it might be, but I do believe in my heart of hearts that Obsidian and even Josh, even though he answered my question the way he
yeah,
did, I still think there's a team there at Obsidian that wants a chance at that game,
yeah,
knowing full well with the success of Outer Worlds that they've got the formula down right when it comes to that style of RPG. What they could do in a spy RPG, because there is no spy RPGs like that out there, would be extra special. And if they were given, like you just said, the budget and the time, which they now have underneath Microsoft, oh man, Alpha Protocol 2 would be freaking so good,
yeah.
bro. So good. Oh man, even if they went back, when they just went back and remade the first one, man. Once they just got the permission to remake the first
Remake
one
it.
and
Yeah,
finish it.
it
You know
I
what?
think
Finish it.
yeah,
Like, oh fuck, that'd be so good. Hmm, that'd be so good.
100% full
So
on
good.
remake.
Yes. Full on remake. Finish everything that they didn't get a chance to finish, right? Right? Maybe add a couple levels that they didn't get to add in the first one, right? Because of time and because of resources. Do everything they wanted to with a full bloodied remake of the first one. It'd be like a brand new game at this point for most, since not everybody's played
Mhm.
Alpha Protocol, right? It would be like a brand new game.
Yeah.
It'd be dope. I'd take it. I
Yeah.
take it, see how popular it was, and then move forward with the sequel if it's popular enough.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. We have a um comment from Nate Dogg said Xbox should have made that deal happen already. It should be on Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, like it'd be awesome, but that's like saying that, you know, the Neverwinter Nights should be on
I don't
Game Pass because Obsidian did Neverwinter Nights 2. Or like, I mean, like it's
I don't
somebody else published and owns the IP, right? So
yeah.
these studios used to be other make games for other publishers,
And
you
I would
know?
love to see it become backwards back
Yeah.
compatible. It's not it's again, I own it, but I
Mhm.
don't know what happened with Alpha Protocol because again, it wasn't even available on PC. It got
Well,
pulled from all the stores.
Sega
GOG distributed it.
Didn't re-up the licensing
Right,
is what it was.
right, and GOG finally got it back, right?
Yeah.
I purchased it on GOG. I now do own it on GOG, so I am planning on going back to it. It was on
Mhm.
sale again for 11 bucks or whatever, and I picked it up because I'm like, I'm eventually gonna go play this on PC at 60 frames. It's gonna be beautiful without all the hiccups that the 360 version has. I started replaying it on 360 because I did buy it. I've got the strategy guide for Alpha Protocol still. Um, and it is, I mean, again, it is choppy on the console. On 360, it is not pretty, but yeah, it's curious that Sega let those licenses go. That's why I just
Mhm.
said just sell them the IP back because Sega obviously doesn't have a whole lot of interest, or just cut the deal to do the remake, cut them in on it, and call it a day and see if it sells so well. Then they give you the option to buy the IP and you go make the sequel.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
mean, it'd be nice. I
Yes,
think it just depends on how much they are interested in the franchise. I think Obsidian is,
I still think so.
but I don't know if like Microsoft or Sega is.
Right.
So it's just like they just don't care, right? But
Yep. Yep.
I hope they do.
I hope they do too. I hope they do too. Confirmed today. Not a big topic. Nuketown though, coming to Call of Duty Black Ops 6. They're going all in, man. They're going all in. They're just gonna throw everything at the wall on this one.
Yeah.
So Nuketown is gonna come back. Love it, hate it. I love it personally, but love it or hate it, it's gonna be there, which is dope. It'll be released November 1st, according to the teaser image that was leaked. So Nuketown on its way to Black Ops 6. Did you like Nuketown, Mav?
Not a huge fan of
Okay,
Nuketown.
fair enough.
I
Again,
like the okay. I like there's one aspect of Nuketown I like. I like the houses. I like
yeah,
hanging out in the second story window
yes,
and just waiting for the guys to pop in the other one and just gunning them down as they get in there. And I like to take an LMG and just shoot through the walls because I know there's always somebody running through those doors. But then you always get taken out from behind as well. So
yep.
I like to plant claymores and set traps and sit there in my second story bedroom and just lay fire down. But sometimes you can't get there because other players are
Yes.
good at holding that area down and focusing on it.
I
So
love playing hide and seek on the upper floor.
yeah.
When you get a couple kills up there, and then they
Uh-huh.
come get you, and you just move from corner to corner, and you wait for them, and they
Yeah,
run by.
like you go
Oh
in
my
the
god,
corner, you
yeah,
get on the bed and hide on the corner
yep,
on the bed, and you go
yep,
in the opposite corner.
yep,
Yeah, just wait for them to
exactly.
come in.
It's so much
Yeah.
fun, bro. I love doing that. So that was cool. Red Dead Redemption, by the way, everybody, is finally the first Red Dead Redemption is finally coming to PC with all the bells and whistles, except for it won't be in the RDR2 engine. So it's going to still be the original engine, but it is getting widescreen, ultra widescreen support, HDR support, everything that you would expect. Otherwise, it is coming, and it is also coming with, of course, Red Undead as well, the DLC expansion, and that is coming October 29th. Mav, real quick, first before we get to the price that we found out today. Funny thing is, Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is coming October 31st.
Yeah.
Once again, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon the franchise, is overshadowed. It seems like no matter when they try to release a Horizon game, Mav, something shows up that will overshadow it.
Yeah.
It's freaking funny as hell. Everybody couldn't pass up on the opportunity to go. Okami13, shout out to Okami. I love his post. He says, ladies and gentlemen, the Horizon curse strikes again.
Yeah.
um,
Was
but
first was Breath of the Wild, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I don't remember what launched around Forbidden West, but
Forbidden West wasn't that Elden Ring? It was Elden Ring.
Mm.
Yep. 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 No matter where they try to launch, it's over with. But anyways, Red Dead Redemption is coming. For you, those of you that don't know, I haven't finished RDR2. I've played, I don't, God knows how many hours in it, but I've never finished it. RDR1, I had 100% of that game at one point before all the DLC and stuff started dropping. Played a ton of the DLC as well. I still think RDR1 for me is a better game, better story overall. I again, if you like RDR2, I totally understand why. Obviously, again, technical wise, it's a masterpiece. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But this is a big deal. I am going to go buy this eventually and play it on PC again because I can't wait to again how it looks and how it's running. Sure, it still shows its age because they didn't update the engine, which I think Rockstar should have done again. Rockstar and Take Two, you're rich enough, you are flush with money, like tell your shareholders to F off Strauss every once in a while and pay the proper respect to the IP that built that company for you and that made all those people rich and put a little extra effort. Again, I have a massive problem with them and how they treated the remasters of Grand Theft Autos, right? The original trilogy. I had a massive problem with that. That again, why disrespect what made you the company you are? Like,
Yeah.
just leave it where it's at. I don't understand it. Now, this PC version for Red Dead Redemption seems to be decent as far as performance goes. We'll find out more, obviously, once it launches. But right now, it seems like it's going to have a lot of bells and whistles on PC. But I would have loved to see them do the RDR2 engine and do a
Yeah.
good remake of this because it deserves it. It really does. Anyways, the price point came out today, $50.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's the it should I mean, I would think like
At this point.
30 bucks maybe, like,
Yeah, maybe,
that would've been a
yeah,
29.99 would've been perfect.
29.99,
Yeah.
24.99, maybe 50. You got to give me the RDR2 engine. I'd pay 50 if you had actually remade this in the RDR2 engine. But I will wait on a sale on this. Again, I love this game. It will be in my catalog, but yeah, $50, man. I don't know, brother. How do
Yeah.
you feel about the remake in general?
I'm super
General
glad.
remaster, I should say.
I would
Remaster.
rather them have done an update for Red Dead
Yes.
Redemption 2 for consoles,
Yes, that
right?
too. Yep. Mhm.
Like Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC is fucking mind blowing. Like just
I'm gonna buy it
absolutely
someday and
crazy.
play it. I'm
Oh
going
my
to.
god, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane. You want to see your PC shine?
Mm.
Play Red Dead Redemption 2 on it and mess with all the settings. There's a lot of settings and stuff you can do on it too. But yeah, I would rather them done an update for RDR2 for consoles to 60 frames if they can do it. Maybe they can't even do it. Like maybe it's just too demanding. I don't know,
I
right?
don't know.
But I think they could.
I think
It's an amazing game. But this is also an amazing game, and it comes with a DLC, right? So that's
which is
awesome. Undead
fantastic.
Nightmare.
Undead Nightmare is
Um,
so fucking good.
So, I think the price is a little high, but I think it's pretty awesome what it is and stuff, and it's coming with extra features and stuff like ultra wide support, I think is what they said, and some other stuff. So it's something I will also add to my library at some point, knowing it exists there, and I'll be able to play it in the best way possible. Revisit this classic game that I loved. Is going to be pretty awesome. So
And
I
mods will
imagine
come
this
too.
exactly. That's what I'm going to say. I imagine there'll be some interesting, crazy mods eventually for it.
And maybe visual mods. Maybe somebody will go after
Yeah.
the RDR2, right? They again, we've seen teams do that, right? So we've seen modders do that for other. It's possible. Like if anything, they might just improve the models and that kind of stuff and
Yeah.
bring it a little bit more up to date, which I'm all dope for, down for. So, but again, be able to play this game in the best light possible, like you said, Mav. At this point, when I do buy it on sale, is going to be an extra special experience because this game is one of my top. This is one of my goats. Like I love this experience and Undead Nightmare was one of the best DLCs I've ever played as well, but it had a lot of bugs. If you remember, Mav, it was lots of problems, lots of missions that wouldn't work or that you could get locked out of. There was a lot of issues. So I'm imagining on the PC version, a lot of that is going to be smoothed out on top of it, performance wise, too, because performance on the original DLC on Dead Nightmare was not pretty either on the old
Mhm.
consoles. So, all that being said, be able to replay this at some point and probably 2025 at some point, I'll touch on this again, is going to be cool as fuck, man. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. So, but $50, come on, Rockstar. Come on, 2K. Come on, Strauss. Come on, buddy. Don't forget too. By the way, this was just an addition to Horizon Zero Dawn being overshadowed by obviously Dragon Age: The Veilguard on the 31st as well.
Yep.
So, honestly, it's so funny how that game seems to be cursed. That franchise seems to be cursed. Um, Mav, how you doing on time? Are you okay? I want to make sure I double check before
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
give. Okay, okay,
We got
cool,
a little
cool.
bit more time.
Okay, cool. Because we're just in small territory, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to kind of get an idea. The surprise game, everybody, and I know some people talked about in the chat. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but the surprise game that was just announced today, in fact, coming to Game Pass next week, both console and PC Game Pass, is MechWarrior 5 Clans. When if you're scratching your head going, yeah, MechWarrior 5's already been out. What are you talking about? No, no, no. This is a new game. They've redone MechWarrior 5. So MechWarrior 5 still exists, right? But and this is like you could say an expansion, but it's not. It's like a full-fledged standalone. So they've redone a ton of the systems in this, right? The co-op still exists. You could do up to 5-player co-op. Now you're going to be able to switch in and out of all the mechs when you got AI controlled mechs with you as well. Me and Steel jumped into MechWarrior 5. We did put some time in. I can't remember. Did we stream MechWarrior 5? God, maybe we might have.
I know Steel streamed a lot of Armored Core,
He
but
streamed a lot of Armor Core, but Mech 5 was even Mech 5 was a couple years ago, even before Armor Core and stuff. And I think we did stream it, or I know he's showing a ton of the gameplay. He did show a lot of our gameplay back on Living Split Screen as well. And we had a great time. It is a different style mech game. It is slow paced. It is old school, slow paced mech. It is strategy heavy. It is systems based heavy. You customize your entire Mac, but you have to worry about weight, you have to worry about power, you have to worry about all that stuff, and everything costs money and it's expensive. And if your mech blows up or if your mech gets damaged, it costs you money to fix it. And you've got to pay attention to that stuff, not real world money, but in game money. So you got to be earning, you got to be taking missions where you can earn money and balancing that out with taking the tougher missions where you are going to get damaged. Steel and I, again, Steel's a sweaty when it comes to these types of games. Both of us has played MechWarrior back in the day, so we're not like newbies at this. We had some moments, we had some tough spots, some tough missions where we had to restart or replay missions when we were playing this. We are going to jump back into this. And Mav, you surprised me because for whatever reason, neither one of us can remember exactly why you didn't jump into MechWarrior 5 originally when it was in Game Pass. MechWarrior
I can't remember.
I can't
Like,
remember why you didn't, but anyways, you are looking at this going, hey, I want to jump into this too. So we might have Mav involved with us, but Mav, overall, again, just another surprise Game Pass drop. And of course, it's MechWarrior 5, so it's not like this big
yeah,
franchise. I mean, it's a big franchise. Don't get me wrong. They keep making games and people keep playing them, just nobody talks about it. And it's obviously
yeah.
more heavy on the PC side, but still, nobody talks about these games. But this is still dope that Xbox had the original MechWarrior 5 in Game Pass, but now is getting the Clans one, and it just got kind of announced out of the blue. Oh, by the way, it's coming next week, and it'll be in there for you.
Is
So,
it coming to PC Game Pass also?
yes, sir. PC and Xbox. Yep.
Mm. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
interesting because I never like when I saw this trailer for this one.
Yeah.
For some reason, it stood out to me more. Mech Warrior isn't a franchise I've ever really been super into. I've liked mech games. Like one of my favorite 360 games was Chrome Hounds.
Right.
Absolutely loved it. That was from Software. Actually made that one, and it got kind of shat on by media and stuff. But it's also for many people like a beloved game. Um, but this one kind of when I saw the trailer, it reminded me more of that with the way that they showed all the customization
Mm-hmm.
and the slower moving mechs and stuff. So I was like, I'll give this. It's in Game Pass. I'm gonna actually give it a go. The fact that it's on PC Game Pass is also intriguing because I've never played a game like that on PC.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of curious how that's gonna play out. I want to give it a go. We'll see.
It's gonna be dope, man. Full controller support. They did a good job with the controller support as well. So they're
Yeah.
another one of the companies that have done that. very well. So feels natural, obviously on a controller. Just dope. I can't believe we're just getting this. I put out a post about it because I was like, I've got too many games as is. But if you don't think I'm not going to jump into MechWarrior 5 Clans because it's dropping into PC and console, of course I am. And I hit Steel up right away, and I'm like, Steel, you down? He's like, oh man, really? Yes. He's like, let's go. So can't wait, man. And if you're jumping in, it's gonna be fun because that game is fun the more players you get in.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have some fun there. MechWarrior 5 Clans, everybody. Coming next week to Game Pass. So get ready for that. What else, Mav? Who I don't know what the hell's going on with remasters. I'm down for all these old games
Yeah.
coming back, right? I am more than down for all these games coming back. The randomness that we are getting, obviously, Aspire, obviously, Disney, Lucas have cut deals, right? Marvel, Disney's cut deals to, they talked about it, like they were going to do more Star Wars games, that they wanted more companies handling Star Wars games. But man, we got an announcement today out of the blue coming January 23rd. So right around the corner. Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles coming
Yeah.
to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Steam, Switch, everything. Jedi Episode 1, right? No, I'm sorry, Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. This game was infuriating back in the day, Mav.
Yeah.
A lot of people love this game. Like, this is when I started figuring out that I wasn't like into the old school games as much anymore because I was already in my 20s, right? But we played a ton of this shit at the bachelor pad. Okay, this game is good. It's a lot better than what people gave it credit for when it came out. When it came out, I remember the reviews weren't very good. I'm going way back now because it's been what, 25 years,
Yeah.
something
Been a
like
while.
that.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long ass time. Anyways, it wasn't reviewed well back in the day. But people remember it now more fondly. And I even saw some people say this is unironically one of the greatest Star Wars games. And I'm like, oh, oh, oh. There's a big list there, bro. I don't know if I could go that far, but it is just cool that of all the games, I could list you plenty more that I would rather have, but it's still dope that this random Star Wars game is getting made now, coming back as a remaster, and they are updating things. Again, it is Aspire. We'll see. But man, what are your thoughts? Did you like Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles when it first launched? Did you play a lot of it? Are you excited for this one coming back?
Uh no, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I'm not excited for it.
Okay.
But it's cool.
It's cool.
So just it's Asper. This is what they're doing instead of Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. It is, yeah, man. And again, this game is for anybody who has not played it. We are going to see how they update, if they can update the controls, because one of the main problems
Yeah.
was the controls back in the day. This was an unforgiving fucking game, okay? As a lot of games were back in the day, right?
Mhm.
We all know. But with the controls, it was even more unforgiving. And there were certain sections that were just like, dude, because we had I think there was couch co-op back in the day too. They're having it in this one too. It is just like so damn tough, man, to get through some of these sections. But anyways, for all the lovers, Jedi Power Battles coming out January. I'm not going to be day one on this one, but I love that it's here and I love that it's coming, and it gives me hope that other games that I have on my wish list are happening. I've already gotten a couple of them, and we're getting a couple more, obviously. But I this was just random. I was just
Yeah.
like, what are we doing? Really? Okay. I'm down. I'm down for more people to be able to play it. Yeah, Lonzo says Jedi Power Battles is a great game, great co-op game. Yeah, again, that's how we played it. But bro, I don't know if I could say great like ever in this game. Like it wasn't reviewed like that. Like it was just, and playing it, it was frustrating as fuck. Maybe like I said, I just got to realize at that point that I didn't like those older style games.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for
It's
everybody who
just
loves it.
there's so many other Star Wars games that I
Yeah.
would have chosen to do above this one,
That's
right? but maybe because there's maybe some kind of anniversary or something, some reasoning behind it. I don't know. I would have done one of those other 64 games. Um, I don't remember the name specifically. But yeah, there was a couple that I really loved on 64, but this wasn't one of them.
Well, Brett Bingham's teasing again in the chat, everybody. So he says, Pog Soul, if you like
Yeah.
remasters, you're gonna like tomorrow too.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yep. Yep.
he was right about
He was
today with
teasing
it.
today.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I know. He
So
teased me this morning. I was not expecting Jedi power battles, but Brett,
no.
at all. Like if you gave me you said list 500 games of remakes or remasters that you think is going to happen tomorrow, I would never have had Jedi power battles on that 500. I not even joking. Like I
Rogue Squadron. That's the yes, thank you, Buzz.
yes.
Um yeah, I forgot this game existed.
I remember we played a lot of this fucking game, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Shadows of the Empire. Those are the
Yes.
two. Yeah,
Shadows of
Rogue
the Empire.
Squadron and Shadows of the Empire. Those are like I would bring
Oh,
both
super
of those back.
or the Super Empire Strikes Back games. Like again,
Mhm.
Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Star Wars, like those were dope as well on Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
Uh yeah, just crazy, man. But I'm happy. I'm happy. We'll see how it turns out. Again, it is Aspire, so we'll see. All right. Let's see. Again, not gonna hold my breath on these, bro. But anyways, let's see what else I got. Oh, remember you guys? Remember when we talked about how Humble basically lost their entire staff and they
Yep.
didn't know what was going to happen, right?
New publisher.
They didn't know how they were going to handle it. Well, the people that left formed a new publisher called Good Games Group and then cut a deal with Humble to basically do what they were originally
Right.
doing at Humble, which was taking over and helping publish those games that are already in production. So Humble games that were in the works that was kind of up in the air. People were worried, devs were confused as what was going on. Sounds like it's just going to go back to status quo, except all those people that left got their own company now, and they're going to get paid anyways from Humble to do this. That's
Right.
dope.
Yeah. Happy for them. It almost
Yeah.
is like the um situation that happened with Tango Gameworks in a little bit.
Yes, a little
Except
bit.
this is their own company.
Yeah, their own company, like, but they got business right out the gate. Like they didn't have
Yep.
to go look for business. They just went to their employer that they were pissed off at in the first place that didn't give them a better deal. And you need somebody to help you with these. Oh, well, guess what? We got our own company now. You want to talk? And they got a deal cut. So that's cool, man. That's cool. Good on them. Again, calling their own shots now and controlling their own destiny. I always love that shit. Um, Oh, let's see what else they got in here, man. Go check out Bylina, everybody. Bylina is a new game that got announced for PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series consoles for 2025. It's a new action RPG set in a world of Slavic myths. We've gotten a couple Slavic myths and folktale games through the years, but it's still one of those kind of mythologies that are underutilized in video games. This looks super interesting and it's an action RPG. So go check out Bylina, Bylina. In fact, I'll just throw the YouTube link in there. So hold on here for a second. Copy link. I'll just throw it in the chat. If anybody wants to go check it out, please do so. This looks really, really cool.
Mhm.
I'm very interested in this one. And again, it's another 2025 game coming. It's a small game. But I think it's looking great. So go check that out. Matt, did you have a chance to look at that trailer by chance?
Bylina? No, I
Yeah.
have not
Okay.
yet.
All right. Cool. Go. You gotta go check that out too. Um, super cool looking game. I love these small games that come out of nowhere.
There's a
And
lot of really good looking smaller games that I'm starting to notice pop up left and right. They're getting like really positive reviews in the PC or streaming community as well, and like on Xbox with the indie games and stuff. Like I streamed this game on was it Saturday? Called a Kimbot.
oh, I heard you talk.
Um,
I saw your post about that one.
yeah, and I was played it because they had hit me up with a code for it, and I was like, "Cool, this is cool. I'm gonna check it out. It's a platformer and stuff." Like,
Mhm.
I saw that it had positive feedback and stuff from on the Xbox app, where like you can see reviews and stuff. And I was like, but I didn't really have any expectations. I went into not knowing what to expect or anything, right? So I was like streaming it, and it was like Ratchet and Clank kind of, right?
Nice.
But like then I got into the third mission, which was already awesome. There was like a little technical things here and there, right? It's a smaller indie game. It's like
Sure.
$20.
Sure, of
But
course.
then I got to the third like level, and it turned into Star Fox all of a sudden.
Freaking
I
awesome.
was like going through space, and it
Yeah.
was like this. It was like, it was like taking me on a guided path,
Mhm. Yeah, sure.
and that I could fly around within the guided path, up
Sure.
and down, left, right. But it was,
Right.
and then they had the targets come, and they had the certain amount of time to take them out, and all this stuff. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I love
Nice.
this. Right? This is just
Nice.
random game that I really enjoyed, and like there's another one that I'm gonna check out and maybe the next week or so, called Sumerian 6.
Okay.
It's a Devolver Digital published game. It's a spy tactics game. It
Ooh.
has a very positive on Steam, and it's like
Wait. What is the name of this one again?
the Sumerian 6.
What do I got this wish listed? I have to check right now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I'm gonna get to play it. The it's like scientists that all have different abilities and stuff, and you're like going through, and it's a stealth tactics game, like turn-based tactics.
Mm, I do not have this one wish listed. I am going to. Oh, they got a demo for it though on Steam. I'm going to check it
Hmm.
out. Okay.
Yeah, so that one I'm gonna be playing soon as well.
Cool.
But yeah, look, I was looking at it. The trailer sold me on it, like just wanting to check it out. Like you would like the trailer. Like one of the people has like a ability of like acid and stuff, and then there's like all the different characters have these quirky different abilities. It looks kind of fun, and like, yeah. And Devolver's publisher.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good actually. I'm watching the trailer right now just real quick. Yeah, it looks really damn good. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I got it. I'm gonna check
Yeah.
out the demo for sure.
It just and all these games like just came out, and like I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah, that's it's getting nuts, right?
It's just crazy.
I
Like
know.
these games back, if these came out back in the day, they'd have been like
Yeah, they would be like must
huge
buy,
franchise. Yeah,
like must
exactly.
buys for us, and like we
Yeah.
like go crazy. Uh, yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, man. I just added that one. All right.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to touch on real quick, Mav, and we can have a little discussion about this, and we'll get everybody out of here. Nexon CEO Young Huan Park says, with development costs rising, we need to make games based on user feedback, not numbers and data from the past. Nexon Games tends to, quote, run with projects without having a defined forecast as to how they may perform. And this, of course, is coming from Nexon CEO Young Huan Park, who is obviously part of the First Descendant. And I just want to touch on this real quick because I thought this was an interesting conversation. This comes from Automaton. This is a website by, and this was written by Amber V. Um, this is an interesting conversation with kind of the industry as a whole right now, Mav, and everybody's trying to figure out what's wrong and how they can, do things differently. And, AAA development costs have gotten out of hand. And we know all the discussion that we've been having over the past, year or even more than a year. But it's getting kind of louder and louder. And we've seen a lot of
Yeah.
failures. And obviously coming from Nexon, who just launched First Descendant as a free-to-play AAA game, which you don't see a whole lot of free to play AAA games because it is very risky, obviously. And obviously people have their different thoughts on the monetization that First Descendant does. I just thought these were interesting quotes. So just real quick again, in an interview with 4Gamer at TGS 2024, the CEO of Nexon Games, Young Huan Park, gave an interesting insights into how the company makes judgments about what games to greenlight amidst rising development costs and harsh market conditions. Up until now, Park has led the development of successful titles such as NCSoft's Lineage 2, Bluehole, now Krafton's Terra, and more recently Blue Archive and The First Descendant. When asked how Nexon Games assesses potential games to process, Park describes focuses more on listening to users' feedback than analyzing market data and calculating forecasts. Part of this is due to the lack of precedent in South Korea's video game industry. Quote, if it's an MMORPG, we can roughly imagine how it will perform. However, when it comes to titles like Blue Archive or The First Descendant, neither my company nor I personally have experience making and releasing such games to the market. And even in Korea, these kind of games have hardly been made up until now, end quote. Due to this lack of relevant data, Nexon Games tend to run with projects without having to define forecast to how they may perform. And Park says that this is the case even with games that cost upwards of $70 million to make. However, it's not only the lack of data that contributes to this. Park doesn't trust numbers when it comes to assessing the potential of a game. Although the company does use overseas market data as a reference and sets rough estimates, they treat the numbers as unreliable and relative, while the raw voices of users are absolute, according to the CEO. Quote, working backwards based on the profit you want to achieve with your game used to work fine in the past when production costs were low. But with development costs gradually increasing, errors in the numbers can accumulate. And if you find your game falling apart at release, if you think about it, that way, focusing on user feedback is the most reliable method at the moment, end quote. Goes on to explain, we may not know how much money we can make by developing a certain game, but we can get a feeling as to what kind of game will make users happy. That's why we test games even in the middle of development and collect feedback. Park comments that even though this kind of user feedback cannot give the developers clear data about how many downloads, logins, or purchases they can expect, we can find out whether users would like to play our game and come back to it. And we choose to believe in this and run with it. Math, paralysis by analysis, brother. Um, Overthinking, right? Um, Trying all these ideas that we've
Yeah.
seen AAA developers get into, right? Everything except for making the game fun, right? We've talked about this time and time again. We have example after example now, Mav, of big budget from some big time developers come out and fail miserably in this market. Um, we have examples of small games that people didn't even think were going to do much. Pal World coming out and exploding on the scene, right?
Mhm.
We got examples of a middling game like Helldivers 2 that
Yeah.
some people were on like us, some people were off like others, but it came from a studio that had done a top-down twin stick shooter first, changed their entire game. Nobody really expected to do what it did. Sure enough, Helldivers 2, one of the biggest games of the year.
Yeah.
We have a Baldur's Gate 3 situation, which we brought up in discussions because Larian decided to build that with the community, right? They decided to
Mhm.
have basically 3 years of access, early access game, where they built the game alongside the community and took that feedback that he is talking about here in this article. And what happened to Baldur's Gate 3? It came out and became one of the most successful franchises. Well, the most successful game Larian's ever done, became game of the year contender, giant seller, tons of money made on that game, and it was built with the community in mind. Are we onto something here, Matt? Is Nexon onto something because they don't, like he said, they don't have the experience that the West necessarily has in all these genres because they don't have all these stats from the past built up that they're kind of, just kind of throwing shit out there, but using the community feedback, the user feedback as their main kind of line where they could see how popular the game might be and just judging it based upon that instead of paralysis by analysis, instead of thinking about
Yeah.
the modern audience, instead of all these buzzwords that we've heard through the years of how a lot of Western devs create their games. It kind of seems like going
Oh,
back to the
just
basics, Mav. What do you think?
yeah, hey, let's make something awesome and hope people enjoy it. Yeah, that's
I mean, and have those people tell you it's awesome and go,
right.
oh, okay, or have those people tell you no, and then
Yeah,
they
like,
build it.
okay,
Yeah,
well, yeah, 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 and then it, like, see what people are talking about and what they want on social media and the kinds of yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of the whole, uh, chasing trends, chasing other successful games has happened in the industry, but what those developers lose sight of and, publishers is it's not just the kind of game that it is, the genre that it's in, or the way they monetize that makes those games special. It's the game itself that
correct,
people love, right? And then it's built around that, right? So a lot of the developers and publishers kind of lose sight of like, how do we make this game into this model, right? And that's what they try and focus on instead of focus on making what they want to make and then grow it from there, right? And um, this kind of mentality is really what we've been kind of saying a long time is like, take the easy home runs first off, publishers, right? And then deliver on them. Because I don't think it matters really, honestly, what genre, what uh style, or whatever. You have tons of different genres, you have tons of different styles, you have tons of different kinds of characters, all these kind of things. What matters is how good it is, and if it has that special sauce that makes it feel original and unique and different and captures you. Like you can look at a game like Space Marine 2, right? There's
Yep.
been a million games that have come out in the past like a Space Marine 2, right?
Mhm.
In the past, and it's like a nostalgic almost kind of genre, but they did it better, they did different, and there's went where they wanted to go with it. They went all the way in to make it awesome, right? And that publisher also spoke to those same things. Like the head of Saber with that was talking about like, you know, yeah, he was sick of seeing a lot of the things that were going on with how they were deciding to make games, and said that he wanted to focus on just making something awesome, right?
Mhm.
And guess what? It was hugely successful because it resonates with people. People like
Right.
awesome shit. People want
Right.
to play awesome things. They want to play fun things. They want to have a great time. They want to get into these games and like be like wowed and like have like interesting stories and have all this kind of stuff. They don't want to play games like, oh, this is grabbing my attention because of the style of the
Right.
monetization and how big the world is, you know? Like it's what makes it's there's something special about every game that is special,
Period.
right? So
Yeah.
they that's the core thing first. And figuring what that out is about your franchise has got to be the hardest thing. That's
Right.
gonna be the hardest thing, like to capture for any new IP, right? So focusing on that first is the most important thing.
Right.
Shout out to Alvin who hit us with a $2 super chat. Says playing at Kimbot on Steam thanks to you. It's fun. Hey, shout out to
Nice.
Alvin. Appreciate you,
Shout out
man.
to Alvin. Alvin. Awesome.
It's fun game. Fun game.
It's dope, man. Yeah, no, I just thought this was an interesting article and an interesting perspective from somebody who like just freely admits that they don't have the data that some of these companies
Yeah.
in the West do. So they do it a completely different way. And it
Uh,
seems like it's very basic
Yeah.
listening to feedback from the consumer, from the gamer. But that's a lot of what we've talked about that a lot of these companies have gotten away from. Like, dude, make your game fun first.
Yeah.
And who judges how it's fun? Who gets to judge that it's fun? It's not
Yeah.
it's not the CEO, it's not the shareholders, it's the fucking gamers, bro.
Hmm.
Like give the gamers like what they want. You can make any games you want. There's places for games of all different kinds and all that. But if you don't go into it considering that you are making the game that you want to sell for a big group of people, like the core has to be fun at the end of the day. And if it's
Yeah.
not fun, if it's soulless because you've thought about everything else except for that fact, then you wind up with things like Concord, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Soulless.
You can't make every game for
No,
everybody, right? Like
no,
it's you got to
no, it doesn't
focus
work.
on who the target audience is and who
Right,
you want to sell it to.
right.
And
And
then
you get
guess what? Like guess
what
more
happens.
people you might be surprised how many people like it, you know?
Right, right. Exactly. Like Space Marine 2.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, I just thought it was a cool article. And again, just from somebody who it seems like is refreshing, kind of like, hey, just we we just listen to the gamers and let them tell
Yeah.
us if our game's cool or not. Like that's how we do things. Like it's like even with $70 million budgets. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And it seems to be working because Nexon's on a hell of a streak too right now as a developer and publisher. So, anyways, great conversation tonight. Mav, if you got nothing else, you want to get everybody out of here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's get
Awesome.
everybody.
Yeah, nice little 3 hour tour right here of everybody on another episode of PM and the PM. In fact, this is episode 134 already with myself and my brother from another Mavo. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Great conversations in the chat as always. And again, not a huge week of news. The Halo news was obviously massive, especially just knowing what we know and what we've seen, and then having them switch over to Unreal Engine 5, finally announcing it. Like, it's just crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy big news for a IP like Halo. Like, it's wild. But thank you all for joining us tonight. Fun show. And Mav, you got some Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night, and maybe, and we got some streams coming up. And what else you got going on? Anything?
Yeah, so XUP tomorrow night will be episode 203, I think, of Xbox Ultimate tomorrow. We'll probably have more Halo conversations, and maybe we'll talk about what that other Brett Bingham game is that's happening
Yeah,
tomorrow.
whatever
That
remake is master's coming. Can't wait.
whatever he knows that we don't.
Right.
We'll find out about that, but also, yeah, lots of other conversations to have as well. And while we'll have some more streams coming up, have kind of like some different games I want to stream. So going to be doing that. Hopefully, we have some different kinds of news to talk about for those streams as well. And then coming up next week, we got FSP back on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm gonna have a few guests here and there coming over the next maybe month or two on some of the shows, and we will have a guest on FSP on Monday, Quirkenstein, who is on hanging out with Boom on some of his shows. Been a streamer in the past, has been worked in the development in the past with different games and stuff. So I want to kind of see his thoughts on some of this stuff. So I'm gonna have him, and then I think later on a couple weeks we'll have a guest on PM of the PM. Um, yeah, just trying to line some stuff up, make have a little bit of fun and interesting things going on. But it's awesome that everybody being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Nate Dogg said he just got back from GameStop an hour ago. PS5 Pro pre-ordered. Well,
Hey, great.
congratulations, man. Did you
Congrats.
have to fight people off with a stick to get it?
Did you have to sell your kidney?
Yeah. Did you have to sell your PSVR 2?
No, that's dope though. Everybody
Yeah.
getting them great. It's fantastic.
I am happy for you, bro. And
Again,
it yeah.
if Xbox had one, Mav and I both said
I would be yeah, if Xbox had
Yeah,
had a
yep,
pro thing
yep.
this generation, a mid-gen, I would be all over it.
I'd be
Uh,
certainly thinking about
even if it was overpriced and
Yep.
like the PS5 Pro, I would be like, well, it's gonna run all my games better, so I'm gonna get it. You know?
Oh man, but yeah, no. Well, that sounds like fun, Mav. Sounds like a good time. I'm sure we'll have another Mavcast in there somewhere too. Something's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
happen. Something always does. So yeah, everybody. Again, thank you all for joining us. And you guys know how to find me, Pongsoul on X, formerly known as Twitter, Pongsoul on the Xbox, Pongsoul on Steam, Pongsoul on GOG, Epic, wherever. Follow me, I'll follow you back. Can't wait to see what this Brett Bingham tease is tomorrow. Again, the randomness of Jedi power battles is one thing. So I'm hoping it's a little bit more not random.
I think it'll be
And
something also old.
yes, which will be cool because I have a big list of old games I want redone.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see.
What he
There
said.
is too what the God of War original trilogy is supposedly being remade. We didn't touch on that tonight, Mav, but that is supposedly being done. So we will see
Mm,
too. And I am a huge fan, right, of the original. So if that came to PC, I'd probably pick it up,
yeah.
probably replay them because they're damn fun. That's my Kratos right there, right? So, but anyways, I can't wait for that. But if I can make Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night, obviously we will. And we should remind everybody, Matt, we are permanently at hour early, so 9 p.m. Eastern,
Yes.
8 o'clock Central Time, right? So, okay, cool. So that will be going on Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. If I am there, maybe I will have gotten home early enough to play a little Metaphor Refantasio. We'll see. But again, you guys already know how I feel
Yeah.
about it. And then, of course, living split screen Saturday morning. Set the alarms now. Myself, my brother from another Steel Rain, and I will go live 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3+ hours. Buckle up, get ready. Lots of conversation to be had. I know Steele and I will be getting into it for sure this weekend because we do have some things on our mind, as we always do. Bring yourselves to the table. Again, we do get the chat involved. The chat dictates sometimes a good portion of the show which way we go. We get off on tangents every Saturday morning. So you never know how we're going to start it or how we're going to end it. But Steele and I will bring the energy. You just bring yourself Saturday morning to Living Split Screen. And then, of course, Saturday night, back at it, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel, Fuzzy Belvedere, myself, and we usually have a guest or two. He has not announced the guest as of right now. It was the Three Amigos last weekend, but I'm assuming he will have a guest or two because that's 90% of the shows that we do over there. But it's a chill way, the best way to end your Saturday night. Have us on in the background while you're playing video games on the Shop Podcast, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time for everybody that wants to tune in there. Next week, it starts all over again. Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. Boomsticks the man 5 days a week, but every Tuesday, it's All Good Things Green, the Xbox Factor Podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Check him out there and the crew over there. And then, of course, Thursday, next week, like Mav said, we'll be back for another episode of PM in the PM Pong and Mav in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. If everything works out properly, we will be here. Listen, y'all, Golden Age of Gaming is here. Even if you don't think this is the best year in gaming, I'm sure you still got about 25 to 100 games in your backlog right now to play from this year. So get out there, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your Friday. It's the beginning of your weekend. Enjoy the start of your weekend. Play what you love. Love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.